Pretty sure. On the YouTube, that is. And as soon as I do that, my Twitch stream stops, which is great. There's Jordan in. We've already got 6 in, so this is going to be quite good.
I know.
Everyone's eager.
It's one of them. There's a few of these accounts that have that some of them have underscores and some didn't, but both accounts exist on the PlayStation. So if they've put the wrong one in, that's their own fault. Because I've invited what it says on the spreadsheet.
Alright, there's the stream. I'm going to link that over to J. Cole.
Over 0. Continue. Yeah, that's it. Suddenly one shot, 36 laps. That's all you really need, and no safety car.
Yeah.
It's the basics of the session done.
Where should I send them it? Oh, I'll just send them it in DM.
Yeah, just DM it on Austria. On, strict, on, off, on. One shot, long. Right, let's do the final donation.
Oh, somebody left. Don't know who that was.
I think I got time to send multiple invites. That's the annoying thing on PlayStation. You can't add people to a group on the PS5.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because I mean, you've got the play together. I mean, on PS4 you've got the play together to try and invite, which isn't too bad. And you could have people to like groups in friends. You could just click on that group and tick every person. Yeah.
It just made it so much easier.
Oh. If there is anybody tuning in, by the way, go over to Twitch, 24 Hours of F1 2021 charity stream. It is 24 of F1, the Twitch stream, if you want to try and watch that instead of watching us two just babble on about absolutely nothing before we begin actually live commentating.
What do you think about the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre?
You what?
Have you watched Alan Partridge?
No.
Oh. It's just like randomly start. He's with a girl and they don't want to. Like he's trying to delay things, so he's just asking her, "What do you think about the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre?"
Oh Jesus! Oh.
Right, both donations done. Let's just re-invite people.
I mean, there's 7 in at the minute, so that's not going too bad. Hopefully people do recognise that there is going to be a new lobby.
Yeah.
And J. Cole's already recognised me in the DMs, that's good. Might be delayed of about 5 minutes, he says.
Yeah.
That's for anyone else that's tuned into the stream, there might be delayed 5 minutes because Singapore is running over slightly. Probably just speaking to ourselves, but you never know, there might be that one person in outer space.
You know what, I'll get the list of who's racing in Netherlands up as well. Oh, please don't tell me people are changing at the last minute who's racing.
Yeah, Lewis is in for Toxic for Zandvoort.
Well, as long as his teammate knows that, because I can't be asked to look at that, and I'm just going to lie.
I think that's... I'm sure that's their like first or second change, if I'm not mistaken.
There seems to be a lot of changes, don't there, again?
Yeah. Do people recognise that the rule is there? That's the thing. I mean, how's Duncan's just 24 seconds ahead? Oh my god. Sam Corby, Dylan, Harry Banks. Menno's done well from the back of the field in 5th.
And who's doing last to first in this one? It's Combi, isn't it?
Combi for QVR, yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought they were the team in focus, so how bad I was to try and ride on board with them going in towards turn 1.
Yeah, because the rule is crash out as well.
Yeah.
They did just see them straight line into turn 1.
Yeah, you just want to be like, yeah, well, that's just a braking failure, I guess, down towards turn 1.
I still think that's what Perez must have had last week.
Must have done. Yeah.
Why else would you retire the car unless it was a pure brake safety issue?
Yeah. Zandvoort. LRB is in for Bjorn for Zandvoort.
I'll have a look at the thing.
Hopefully there's the right PSN names as well.
Well, that's it as well, isn't it?
I'm sure it will be. I mean, IFR seems to be on top of things, so that's good.
Yeah.
See, Freaks is in for Lewis and France.
I think it was Michalitsky. I mean, there's a few more, but we've got 9 in now.
Got 9 in, yeah. People might just be like watching the final couple of laps of the race and then just join after that. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, everyone after I've done this should have had 2 invites.
Yeah.
If you hadn't joined after 2 invites...
If you don't join after 2 invites, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Jack's probably just hearing this in the background. Good evening, Jack, if you are tuning in. Just listening to us chat absolute shit.
Hashtag XL Wash.
Yeah.
Seen him in EML one. Get my ball that.
Mala isn't in our team. Oh, yeah. Maledict is in a different team. Oh, there we go. There's the updated lineup, actually.
Please match, please match, please match.
I think it does, to be honest. I can't see any...
I had to scroll back, and I didn't see.
I don't see any recognisable changes. Maybe Bjorn for IFR, but I don't think it is.
Bjorn's the only change, so I'll keep going down the original list and then just invite Bjorn at the end.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll lose track. Okay, we've now got a 3rd spectator. Marvellous.
That's Nolan. There's Combian. Nolan's just getting ready for his commentary later on. That's why he's gone spectator. He's probably thinking it's tonight. It's now in Austria, and not 2 races time after our stint.
So yeah, surely I've realised right, these 2 ain't racing.
I'm assuming there's a car that hasn't been taken and he wants 2nd choice. And he wants to give that other team the 1st choice.
Yeah.
Well, Duncan's won by 25 seconds.
Pretends to be shocked.
I mean...
25 seconds, is that?
No, I thought Sam Corby was quicker than Duncan, but I'm totally wrong now.
Nah, Sam's strategies is strong point.
Yeah.
Alternate, the alt strat king, like... Bjorn went into it doubling right into the race.
J. Cole said he's going to give us a shout when we'll be switching to us.
Yeah.
I've got the chat up and I've got the stream up, so that's perfect. Actually, yeah, I can just switch in between chat and lineup.
Yeah, I'll put it in here.
Oh. See, everyone's joining now. Bjorn's in, Cortez is in, Radau's in. There's 14 in there, so it's looking quite good. Oh, I'm excited. I'm chilly, but I'm excited.
Nah, Chili's not racing, he's on Xbox.
No, I'm bloody freezing. Sitting right next to a radiator, God.
Well, that's it. In Milton Keynes, I sit next to a radiator. In Doncaster, the radiator's got a bed in between me and it. So I rely on the electrical heat from the laptop and the PlayStation.
The joys of sitting at the end of your bed, preparing to do commentary. Not in my pyjamas this time, if anybody is tuning in.
Did someone DDoS Duncan?
Oh, have they? Let's have a look.
No, I think because he won by that one. I wonder if Duncan and Sly Guy meet in 20... I think I am commentating on Sly Guy around France, and EML around France did not go that well for him.
It didn't, but looking at how he's been dominant so far...
Well, yeah, that could be because he's absolutely sweated it.
I think he has.
But it's like someone else said, maybe you should sweat no line.
Yeah.
Instead of...
Ooh.
Might message Nolan in a bit going, this comms box is getting a bit cramped, lad.
We don't want 3 eagles in a commentary box.
Yeah.
Oh. 16, there's Trappy Formula in. I think most of these drivers, luckily, have been quite new. So, easier to get in than just switching over from lobby to lobby.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Banks was 3rd.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's Eltinkin. Nolan needs to go out as spectator. And we've got 18. We're only waiting on 2 more, but I don't know who's the other 2. Let's have a look.
No idea. It was the Mercedes.
Acorn we're missing for Team Speed. And we are missing... Ecos Mats, I think we're missing. Oh no, he's right at the top. We're missing somebody else.
Is it? Can you see Tin Can anywhere?
Yes, he is 6th from the top.
Right, Tin Can.
Cam Rules. That's who it is.
No, he's in. He's in Red Bull.
Oh no, he is in 5th. Yeah.
Nolan's spectating. Bjorn's in. Is it Charlie Harris?
Is it Patuka? No, he's at the top.
Charlie Harris, I think.
Charlie Harris.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Unless there's a change coming for that team. Acorn asking him for an invite. I think I've got him on my friends list. Hang on. I'll try and see if I can get him in. No, I think... Because I think it's the one in capitals, if I'm not mistaken. He's got another one off me, just in case. Oh, it's Acorn underscore 95. Oh my god, we've just invited a random Acorn. Oh god. Right, now he's got an invite off me.
And
God almighty.
Well now. I think it's Charlie Harris.
Charlie Harris is the other one. We just need Nolan to go out as spectator.
Yeah.
I think they're just ending off on Aiden and Jess's end. I haven't got the sound on, so I don't know. Right. Acorn definitely has an invite, unless he's got somebody blocked within the lobby, then he probably can't join.
Yeah.
I think somebody's just joined, actually. Oh no, Nolan's gone McLaren. Still waiting on 2.
Well, I'm going to set... I think Charlie's definitely got a friend request, so if you don't have it, then tough shit.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Charlie.
I mean, I'll... Well, I'm going to give him an invite. Just in case, because it might be the case where, oh, invites might not be working. Charlie and... That's him there. Right. That is it, I think. Given Acorn an invite, given... They're probably on time trial getting a setup or something. I mean, we're 10 minutes behind, come on.
I know. It's just Acorn, I think, had it on private, didn't it?
Oh, I sent him an invite straight away. So
I have. Well, I'm sending him another one now. Right, Charlie's had multiple invites, so I'm going to tag him on.
tag him on Discord, yeah. I mean, Acorn, we can't do much about, but... Ah, somebody else has joined.
Acorn.
Acorn's in, lovely.
Yeah.
Just waiting on Charlie, and then we're good to go.
Yeah.
Unless there has been a change for his team, which I don't think there is.
The only change in Austria is Bjorn.
Yeah. Oh, my connection's going a little bit funny a little bit, I think. And I will back up to 4 bar.
Pete sent me a message, but I'll message him that later.
Yeah. As soon as Charlie's in, we're pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
Because I'll only wait, maybe, we can only wait, what, a couple of more minutes.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome along to the 24 Hours of F1 event. If you are tuning into the YouTube stream, 24 of F1 on the on Twitch. That is where we are broadcasting live too. Please don't watch this, and of course you can use all the commands to donate and everything on there. It's just a simple stream with two northerners talking. This is all it is. But people are readying up by the looks.
I can't blame him, because Charlie enjoying it, so...
I'm going to ask J. Cole.
I've sent a few, and a friend request.
If anybody is a driver, oh, he's literally just read my mind. He's literally just put in, is anyone missing it all?
Yeah. Because I've sent a few and a friend request.
I'll just say we've sent him multiple
and now
invites.
He's just added me as a friend, so now I should be able to invite him.
Good. Are we good to go though on our end?
I'm ready whenever. I'm just waiting for as soon as I send this to Charlie.
Yeah. You should see the multiple invites just come through, and then you can just join.
Well,
and
I
if
don't
that's
think
the case,
you can, because I think it's because of settings.
Yeah. What a palaver!
Well, this is why I sent them all friend requests, and then you don't do it, and if you have it as for settings... You know, no, I can do about that, can I?
Right, he's going to give the stream to us too.
You didn't see that, did you?
I think. There he is, he's in.
You didn't see that, did you? In F2 last year, TTML, TDB and Charlie Harris were desynced, and TDB accidentally took Charlie out because he couldn't see him.
Oh,
on the
God.
Final lap.
Don't.
For first place.
Let's hope there's no repeat. I think we're about to go, though. Good evening everyone and welcome back to the 24 Hours of F1 event. We are here for races 7 and 8 as we take in, of course, the Austrian Grand Prix first at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, and then, of course, the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort in the Netherlands. As you probably just heard, my name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you to the stream for the next 2.5 hours or so, and joining me in the commentary box is my fellow Northerner. It is Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Good evening, James. Good evening, everybody at home. Hope you've been enjoying the 6 hours, 33 minutes so far of F1 action, and it won't be too long before we get some more in, of course. Austria and Zandvoort, the next two races. Thank you, everyone, so much for your donations. What I can guarantee is that Austria will be shorter than Singapore. We've probably had the longest race.
We have had the longest race, but I thought, well, could you count America in that with a very wet race that's coming at like 5 o'clock in the morning? I wonder if that's the case. But obviously, all 20 cars are in. All 20 drivers are about to do battle, of course, out on track. We don't have a team to focus on as apart from last year. QVR, of course, will be starting from the back of the field, and that is, of course, with their driver combi. So, whoever we go on board with for this one-shot qualifying, we are literally just going to stick on board with. Whether they invalidate their lap or not is another thing. So, with only a couple of seconds to go. We better get going out on track for more on-track action here in the 24 hours of F1. And we go on board with Vapor TDB, and he's now on the run down in towards turn number 1 in the Williams car, of course, for the Vapor team. As we now come through the right-hander of turn 1, then through turn 2, and I think he's nearly already invalidated, hasn't he, as he comes out through. Luckily, it's not an invalidation by the looks of it coming out of turn 2, and now towards Remus at turn 3, and this is, of course, is through the end of the first sector, and to 15 flat through the first sector from TDB. He's about 5th at this moment in time. We'll get all the telemetry up for you on the right-hand side, and now on the run down towards Schlossgold at turn number 4, and TDB currently 6th position. Matt, Tinkan, Patuka out on top. Combi, of course, starting right from the back of the field. Cam Rules further down the field there as well at this moment in time, but TDB now coming out of turn 5, then to the left-hander of turn 6. Matt out on top. Jordan now coming through the field, of course, for Barra-Carrels, and now TDB through the end of the middle sector, 44.5 through the middle sector, and now we saw an invalidation there, I think, from Trappy as we now come through in towards turns 9 and 10, in towards Rint Corner, and then through Red Bull Mobile as TDB goes for a spin into the pit lane. That is not the best way you end off your lap whatsoever, but it looks like Ecos Mats could be the one out on top. It's actually Tomer out on top, Cortez second, Bjorn there in third. TDB still valid somehow on his lap. He is about to come across the line eventually when he gets there, but TDB now running to the line, and he goes 12th in the end. A bit of a hectic qualifying session from him, but it is Tomer out on top. A very impressive qualifying session.
Yeah, I said TDB had been watching my track guide through turn number 1, because you can get away with some abuse of track limits, I think it's fair to say. And it was a similar final corner to what I took, and a similar pace to me as well. So very good job there by TDB to somehow keep that valid. But yeah, very close at the top of the order. 8 invalidations as well. Probably going for the alternate strategy around here, which isn't too bad, of course. And as I'm sure you're all aware, it is going to be a dry race. The only wet race we're going to have is Austin, as James has already mentioned, and that is going to be extremely wet and might not have many finishers at 5 AM in the morning.
Yeah, might not indeed. Tom of the out on top for ERT. Cortez second, Bjorn in third, Mats in fourth, Tinkan in fifth, Toxic Tomato and sixth. Nolan, best qualifying, I think, in seventh. He's done a set of mediums as well. Michalizzi, Akon and Raleigh rounding off the top 10. Of course, we run down the full grid order as we get in towards the formation up. And remember that this is all for charity. We've got 2 amazing charities here tonight, of course. We are being sponsored, well, we are going to be raising money for, and those, of course, are Young Minds and Special Effect. And I know we've already reached for over £500 on the Young Minds end, which is fantastic. I know Esports Wales with a donation of £100 is the most recent one. Looking at the Special Effect, we've raised £269. It might be a little bit updated since then. That's certainly what I'm seeing on my stream anyways. Bottolelli, Ginger, all supporting, a really good support once again. From one George Morgan there, giving a £10 donation as well. Of course, the legend that is Mr. George Morgan. But, of course, we are here for one reason only, to see, obviously, on-track action. And with quite a close qualifying session, Luke, and quite a lot of invalidations, that mixes up the grid quite a lot.
Yeah, you'd expect a close qualifying. Track distance-wise, there are shorter tracks. In fact, I think Zandvoort is the shortest permanent track on the calendar, and Monaco is shorter than that. But time-wise, you're not going to get shorter than Austria. Esports drivers do it 62, 63 seconds. And yeah, should be, like you said, should be extremely close. Be interesting to see what all the different drivers have gone for in terms of strategies and everything. Although I'd expect it to be a fairly even split in the field as I get it up quickly. No, we have got Eltic and Charlie Harris are going for the soft tyres. They're going aggressive outside the top 10. And it's for charity. You might as well try something different. DRS is going to be absolutely crucial around this circuit. Basically, half the track is a DRS zone.
Basically, half the track is a DRS zone. Yeah, DRS zones, of course, down at towards turn 1, the start finish straight. Well, down in towards turn 3, of course, at Remus, where we are now. And then down in towards turn 4 at Schlossgold. And we've been around here before in recent commentaries, especially so on EML on Wednesday. And there was quite a lot of great action there. Predictable one-stop strategy says lap 15 to 16. But remember, it's 2-stop. Every team has to do a mandatory 2-stop. If you don't, you probably end up getting disqualified from the race results. And unfortunately, you will not pick up any points for your team. Simple as that. But Tom are out on top. Cortez there in second, of course, and there Bjorn in third for the IFR team. Very close qualifying session. I think they were only separated by 500ths of a second. Anybody else further down the field catching you? I know there's probably one name in particular that you're just looking at in 16th position.
Whatever gave you that impression? Yeah, I think VSR Jordan's having a bit of fun. We might not see him too much longer on PlayStation. I can't remember, and he's going to absolutely kill me for this, seeing as I'm in VSR as well, but I can't remember if he's in the Challengers or not, but I know he is planning to go over to the PC side as Petuka and Elting have not disqualified from the session, so they're going to have a bit colder tyres. It'll be interesting to see what Jordan can do. Of course, Combi for QVR, they were doing the last to first, so his team's going for last to first. They have to do it at least once, and they have to go for double points in one race, but no one in the next two races is going for double points. Clearly well aware of the chaos that can happen in Turn 1 at Austria.
Yeah, definitely so, and looking at the run, it's a very small run down in towards Turn 1 and roughly around 200 metres up the hill in towards Turn 1. All the cars now joining on the back of the grid. Combi, I think, is going to be the final man, of course, for QVR. Right at the back of the field, be interesting to see, of course, how he gets on. But we're about to get going, of course. Race 7 of the 24 Hours of F1 event is about to get underway. 36 laps awaiting these drivers. Quite a lot of strategy in play as well. And now the 5 red lights are going to go out here in Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix. Long hold, but it's lights down and away we go, and Thomas gets a very good stop, but Cortez reacts quicker, and Cortez will lead in towards someone, and now FR team diving down the inside of the ERT man, and there's a little bit of contact in the background, and Nolan nearly went into the back of Ecos Match, but Cortez leads the way through turn 1, they're all through safely, coming now up the hill through 2, and then towards Remus at turn 3, Cortez leading the way, Bjorn in second, Tom there in third, Toxic Tomato in fourth, and now Nolan dodges it down the inside line, little bit of contact, and there's a Constantino effect well down the field, Acorn getting caught up in a slight incident there for the speed team, but Cortez leads the way, Bjorn in second, Tom in third, Tom really fighting on the back of the IFR man, running down in towards turn 4, not going to get it, side by side further down though. Raleigh and Cam Rules going side by side. The ESW man nearly going around the outside of him, doesn't quite get the move done. Cortez leading the way now. Bjorn in second, Tom in third. Apart from that Constantino effect at turn 3, Luke, not too bad at all.
Yeah, I think we expected that at turn 3, of course. Very, very tight corner. Realistically, it's the second corner. How on earth that turn number 2 counts as a corner, I'm not quite so sure. Charlie Harris and Acorn having a bit of battle further back on their set of soft tyres, and it looks like Acorn is going for a very early pit stop, and there's a few cars having to do some avoiding action on this first lap of the race, but it is Cortez in the lead, and I'll tell you what, Nolan in 5th place, not a bad start whatsoever on those medium tyres. Can't see him staying on them for too long though.
Yeah, medium's the better tyre around here in Austria completely, and Nolan, that's why he started on that set of medium compound tyres. Tomer right on the back of Bjorn, running towards turn 3 once again, not quite close enough. TDB and Cam Rules actually diving it down the outside line of Raleigh, and actually Ollie Flavel gets the move done on TDB as well. So the two Williams there going side by side through turn 3. Ollie now through for the Tic Tac and Co team. Raleigh now trying to go on the outside line of Cam Rules, not going to be quite close enough. Jordan, by the way, is already into 14 for Barrett Carrells, and Eltink there in 12th position. There's a spinner. Charlie Harris is into the wall, and he's lost a little bit of end plate damage there on the right side. So Charlie Harris into the wall, went for a little bit of a move down the inside line, got caught on the outside curb, unfortunately gets caught out, and he's the first to pick up damage. Acorn, by the way, back into the pit lane, of course, for Team Speed. He's there in 20th position. We've got Eltink, though, going side by side now with TDB, running in towards turn 9, and the two Williams collect each other, and nearly brings Eltink, and there's all sorts of carnage coming now into the final corner of Red Bull Mobile. Eltink going side by side with TDB. Jordan's going to get involved in this as well. Jordan's going to be very careful, pretty much slipstreaming like NASCAR style up in towards turn 1. Elting through, he's into 12th, Jordan in 13, TDB in 14, but both Williams collect each other, and that was TDB trying to go for a little bit of a reckless move down the inside lane there, and Ollie, who obviously cut the door on him, and now Jordan reaps the benefits of that, and he's through, he's into P12 on Elting, ran out down the inside line of Trappy Formula. It's all kicking off.
Yeah, unless you're alongside into turn number 9, it is very brave to go for a move there. We've got Radau and Trapper Formula now still going side by side down this next straight. Radau's going to try and go down the inside. The Trappy Formula's giving him space. There's a bit of wheel banging between the two of them, and in the end Trappy stays ahead. Eltic and Jordan battling as well. Those soft tyres still pretty good at this part of the race, and you'd expect until probably about lap 8 or lap 9, maybe even lap 10, those softs will do slightly better, and I think no man is proving that more than Nolan, who's now dropped off the front train, as that is Radau who is round. Yeah,
Radau in the wall. I'm not sure if he got caught in a little bit of a collision there, or if he got caught on the curb, but Radau is certainly now out of contention in terms of the race win, but you never know. There is no safety cars here, of course, in the 24 Hours of F1 event, so he's going to try and troop around and pick up points for his team. We saw Trappy Formula as well on Combi getting the move done. Further up the field, Tinkan now going side by side with Michalizzi, and he gets the move done, and now Ecos Mats just ahead is going to get Nolan up the hill in towards turn 3, gets the job done. So Mats now through, and he's into 5th position. Nolan will try and fight back, though. The relentless man, of course, he had a very strong start, I've got to say, to to this event. E-Course are now going to be overtaken, it seems, as Nolan down the inside line on that set of medium compound tyre. Later on in the race, of course, they're going to be so superior to the set of softs, and Nolan back through and he's into 5th position. Luckily for Nolan, no crashes just yet.
No crashes. He's really starting to frustrate these drivers behind him, and he's not doing anything wrong. He's entitled to fight his position, and it is better for him and better for the points. Everyone who finishes does score points. 25, 22, 20 for the top 3, 80 for 4th place, and then 16th down to 1 for the rest of the finishers. Do not ask me to work out what the standings are so far. I will be here quite a while if we ended up doing that. Bjorn, however, at the front of the field, going on to lap 5. Cortez had nearly got outside of DRS range. Bjorn in the Mercedes now for IFR is all over the back of Cortez, and I think he might be going for a move here. Down the inside, Cortez tries to squeeze him onto the grass almost, and Thomas on the outside as well. Could the Red Bull end up in the lead here? No, he can't, but Bjorn, he was the hunter, very quickly ended up the hunted, losing a position.
And now Cortez is going to lose the position to Toma, because now Toma down the inside line for the ERT team will take the lead of Cortez. So Toma, absolute perfect placement of that car, I've got to say, in towards turn 3. Knew he would get the run down in towards Schloss goal of 4, and Toma gets the move done. He's into the lead of the race. Cortez there in 2nd, Bjorn there in 3rd, Toxic Tomato in 4th. He's the first to pick up a 3-second penalty for overextending coming through turn 1. Matt's on the back of Tin Can as well. He's not too far away. Elting fighting with Cam Rules further down the field as well. Ollie Flavel getting his nose in there as well, and now Jordan is about to go side by side with them now up and towards Remus at turn at turn 9, and Jordan right on the back of Ollie Flavel doesn't get the move done coming through turn 9. What a race so far. Toma though leads the way, Cortez in 2nd, with 5th through the action here in Austria. Cortez though on the back of Toma. I think he's going to have the run now. The two sister cars, of course, the AlphaTauri and the Red Bulls, may be sister cars in real life, but they're certainly not going to be sister cars here in the 24 hours of F1 event, as Cam Rules now picks up a 3-second penalty. Combi is into the pit lane to serve up his first stop, so Combi into the pit lane further down the field, but Cortez now on the run down towards Schlossgall is going to get such a phenomenal run. Is he going to try and loop it to the inside or go for the outside line? He switches the outside line, and now Cortez trying to go all the way around the outside. Can he get the job done? AlphaTauri gets Red Bull. The grip is going to be with the Red Bull, and Thomas stays ahead.
Yeah, one AlphaTauri couldn't make an overtake work. The other one did, though. XL Tin Can doing a pretty good job for the XL team, as we've got yellow flags again, and that is Jordan who's round at turn number 4, so he's dropping a long way down the order. It's been great racing. Agree with what Mark says in the chat. Fantastic from the top 4. I don't think the medium runners will be too far away from pitting, because it is that compulsory 2-stop, as we see Cortez actually going in quite early. Very aggressive undercut from the AlphaTauri.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he actually ran wide coming through in towards the pit entry there. So Cortez, that might get looked at if it does, it might get looked at. But it was just a slight wide coming through the pit entry. Nothing more, nothing less than that. But Cortez is into the pit. Then Cam Rules driving down the inside line of Pachuca, goes wide, does the Welshman. And now Pachuca is going to go side by side up the hill in towards turn number 3. We saw Toxic Tomato, by the way, through, and he's into 2nd on Bjorn. Tin Can still holding off Matt for now. Cam Rules dives it down the inside line on Pachuca. A little bit of contact between them both, and the Aston Martin just absolutely sails it past him, and Cam Rules obviously struggling for traction there off the corner as well. Trappy Formula now going side by side with Ollie on the run down and towards turn number 4 on lap 7 out of 36. Toma leads the way, Toxic Tomato 2nd, Bjorn in 3rd, and that is a lovely move by Trappy Formula all the way around the outside of Ollie Flavel through turn 4, and Trappy Formula is through and he's into 9th.
Yeah, pretty good performance there by Trappy Formula, putting in a good job at this moment for the Absolute Unit. Fortunately, he did have to use his Absolute Unit of a Ferrari to try and force his way through there. And now Bjorn into the pits. No surprise to see one of the top drivers here reacting to what happened with Cortez, because you would expect Cortez to come out in the net lead of this race after the first pit stops. What happens after the second ones, I'm not so sure. That's Jordan, who's had a massive moment for turn number 9. It's a good job safety cars are turned off, because that well could have been one.
Oh, wow. He's so far off the track, I'm not sure if there might have been a failure on his end or something. Jordan certainly in the wall coming through turn number 9. That is through Rint at turn 9. Matt, by the way, and Michalizzi and Nolan are all getting now battling for 4th, 5th and 6th position. Tin Can is just ahead of these guys. So actually Tin Can is ahead now of Matt. He's into P3. Matt's there in P4. Michalizzi, Nolan, Raleigh now joining the call in behind as well. Pachuca trying to dive it down the inside line of Ollie Flavel. They now renew their battle from a lap ago, and Ollie now cuts off the back of the Pachuca. But Pachuca down the inside line. Turn 6 has been a very good place for overtaking in the past around team in the sim world, and now Pachuca dives down the inside line and comes to show that impossibilities do work. Pachuca through and he's into ninth, but Ollie Flavel certainly not going to give up this fight.
No, he's going to try and fight it on, of course. I think that's so. He's had Toxic Tomatoes who had a moment. He's spun it coming into the pit lane. He clearly saw what TDB did in qualifying and thought, you know what, that's not a bad idea. That is, though. Needs to be very careful he doesn't get disqualified here for blocking the pit lane. I think we saw Joel get done for that last time around, but Toxic Tomato is now pointed in the right direction. He's completely cooked those rear tyres. He is having big trouble. Just to prove the power of the undercut, Cortez outside of DRS range now of Bjorn.
Yeah, definitely so, and I think, honestly, if I've got to be honest there, Toxic Tomato, I'm not sure if he used 1 or 2 resets to track. I think it was 2, if I'm not mistaken, so that might get investigated by, of course, the stewards. Tomolo leading the way, 4.5 seconds ahead of Tinkan. Matt's there in third, Michelizzi in fourth, Nolan in fifth. Further down the field, though, Combi up to 15th position now, passing Acorn. Acorn is a driver that I used to race in F1 2012, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm very old indeed. But Acorn on the back of Combi. Combi will try and split the toe, running down in towards turn 4, but I don't think Acorn is going to be close enough. Of course, he's only got 20% of ERS to try and use up, and he's just sitting in behind for now on 6 lap old medium runners, as now Matt and Michelizzi stay out, but Tinkan into the pit lane from second.
Yeah, Tinkan into the pits from second. To be honest, if I was racing in this race, and it's probably a good job for everyone that I'm not, I'd be going for a similar strategy to the only Tomer at the moment. Drag the soft tyres out longer, and then just do a short stint on the mediums at the end, because you do have to do 2 stops, of course, so you might as well be on the faster tyre for longer and use the best of the soft. So I'm surprised to see some of the drivers that have come in as early as they have, if I'm being perfectly honest. We've got Michelizzi and Ekos Matsia going side by side, and that is fairly straightforward for the Alfa Romeo. It's a bit like Belgium 2020 last year with that absolute dog of an engine that Alfa and Ferrari had. And there we go, Michelizzi now up into second place, still though leading out of those that have pitted is Cortez. He's got 5 seconds before he catches up to the back of Ollie Flavel, so I think he'll be fairly safe for drivers being fined for pitting.
Well, Cortez, I think, is going to be in the net lead of the race, if I'm not mistaken, because Toman now is coming through turn 10. He stays at least another lap, certainly, and they've got to make the mandatory 2-stop. We see, though, Matt and Michelizzi come into the pit lane. What is that for a camera angle, by the way? I do not know. Matt is into the pit lane, and that is one very wide Ferrari. Michelizzi, though, into the pit lane. You'll watch that back on stream. That was terrible. Michelizzi now into the pit lane. Set of mediums will go on. Matt's now into the pit lane. No longer a wide Ferrari, and he's into the pit lane for a set of medium compounded tyres. Where's he going to come out? I think he's going to come out possibly ahead of Raleigh or side by side, certainly with them. And now Vapor TDB and Nolan nearly going side by side as well. And they're just in behind this, actually. So Michelizzi has got out behind, and Tinkan's got ahead of Elting, which is crucial for him in terms of his strategy. But now Nolan diving it down the inside line of TDB. These two have a very good rivalry in the past, of course. LOE, no exclusives claiming from them both. And now Nolan on a set of soft compounded tyres, beginning to hunt down Raleigh. He's disposed of TDB quite easily, and now Nolan on the back of Raleigh tries to send it down the inside line, and that is very good in terms of Nolan. He's got the pace, but he just wants to set him behind for now.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a DRS trade as well, so things could be quite difficult. I'm impressed by the new camera angle you found, James, on F1 2021. Fair play to you. It reminded me of playing how I used to play F1 games back on the PlayStation 1. Yes, I'm also that old. As we have got the last of our leaders, the initial leaders, to come into the pits, the only Tom, and you can just see how much time he's lost to Cortez, Bjorn, and everyone else who did that. But I don't think that's been too bad for him, because he's going to come out in a bit of free air, and he's going to have fresher medium tyres, and that means later on he'll probably have the fresher soft tyres, so this should be pretty good for him. As we're just hearing that apparently Ollie Flavel forgot to put up a bit of a setup on, which is sort of rule number 1 of league racing, is don't forget your setup. So actually no, it's probably rule number 2. Rule 1 is remember to save your footage, given by the amount of times drivers conveniently forget it. But anyway, we're ranting. Lap number 12 of this race. Let's not forget, this is all for charity, Young Minds and Special Effects. You'll find if you do exclamation mark donate, you'll get links to that, and there are links below the stream. Now we've had some great racing so far. Hopefully it will continue, as we have now got a bit of a train forming behind Nolan, but I would expect him to get away from that and then get onto the back of Michelizzi, Elting and Tinkan.
Yeah, Nolan got the move done down in towards turn 3, and Raleigh now is going to try and stick with him. As long as he's a second behind, Raleigh has got a very good chance of trying to get those medium tyres as far as possible into the race, of course, without doing, obviously doing another stop. It's a mandatory 2-stop, as we have a spinner, and that is Ollie Flavel. And that is what you get for not putting a setup on. He is round coming out of turn 1, unfortunately for him. Still in 5th position, though, as long as he picks up points for his team, of course, that is what really matters. Eltink, though, on the back now of Tinkan, running up the hill in towards turn number 3. But he's not going to be close enough, I don't think, to try and lunge and move down the inside line. He's still on the back, though. Mats and TDB are very close as well. Big old train really developing. This is all now from Ollie Flavel downwards. Nolan on that sort of soft compound tyre. Yes, he's initially got the pace, but remember what I said earlier on. Set of medium compound tyre, set of fresh mediums, better than a set of softs around here as Ollie Flavel now gets overtaken by Tinkan. So Tinkan through and he's into P6, and Ollie, I think, has got damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he had damage. To be honest, not a bad time to maybe come in and then do, 12 laps on 2 separate sets of soft tyres. It's not that bad for you, as we've got a yellow flag, and I think that might be Radow, who's had a spin at the top of the hill at turn number 3, so he drops to last place. He is still in this race, but it's Trappy Formula leading. Lap number 14 then, 1.6 seconds ahead of Patuka, and I believe those are the only drivers that have yet to stop, and as well as Ollie Flavel, of course, as we've had another car having an issue, and that is TDB coming out of the final corner. If he's broken his front wing, that is he's got no front wing whatsoever. He's going to have the lap from hell trying to get back to the pits.
Yeah, so unfortunate for TDB, had strong pace in this race so far, of course, went onto that set of soft compound tyres early, so that's now negated so much, obviously with no safety cars being on. TDB has got to try and make up the ground himself rather than rely on external factors, of course, being a safety car. We know what safety cars are like, certainly in real life in the past week or two. Elting on the back of Tinkan, though, 6th and 7th position. Elting looking quite close. Michalizzi as well in that fresh set of medium, or fresher set of mediums, I should say. He's got 4 lap fresher tyres compared to Elting, and has got more ERS. Now, if you're new to Formula 1, and this is the only time you tune in once a year to the 24 Hours of F1 event, as Pachuca has gone for a spin coming through turn 9 at Rindt, Michalizzi on that ERS, 50% of ERS, and that means basically if you go into a corner, if you go out of a corner, you extend the energy, you use up the energy. If you break into the corner, you're basically saving up the energy. Simple as that. That's what ERS is. DRS, in the meantime, will give you extra speed. As about to see, I think, with Elting on the back of Tinkan, is he going to try and get the move done from this far back? He's not going to use up any ERS in the meantime. Matt as well on Raleigh. That's probably the perfect example of using up DRS, gaining the extra speed, and Matt's now through, and he's into P9.
Yeah, ERS, it's about 150 horsepower, so it's a pretty rapid family hatchback, that, and they just use it as a quick little boost down the straight as TDB has made it back to the pits, and I think that's Trappy Formula who's had an issue. These drivers who've stayed out there on the older mediums clearly having to push a bit too hard for the tyres, not that they were ever in any danger of getting a puncture. He has now gone around, so it is Cortez leading ahead of Bjorn, but Cortez has 1 lap older tyres and does have that 3-second time penalty, but he's got track position at this moment in time, and I think he'll probably end up going for the undercut again, as I think Radow's had a bit of a moment. Acorn getting past, he's side by side with Patuka, who's clearly frustrated after that spin earlier on. Watch him try to rapidly close up onto the back of Combi ahead of him. He's 6 seconds behind, but with 8 lap fresher soft tyres, he should eat into that gap.
Yeah, well, that's why he's on that set of soft compound tyre. He wants to try and eat into the advantage, but remember what I said, and I'll continuously say this in this race here in Austria, that the mediums will end up quicker than that set of soft compound tyre. Patuka is going to be side by side with Trappy Formula coming out of the pit lane. In fact, Acorn, I think, has got a chance to try and get the run, as Michalizzi has gone for a spin at the top of the hill coming through turn 3. Nolan was quite close. I didn't think, though, they made contact. Acorn, though, down the inside line. Can he get the move done? Down in towards Remus at turn 3. No, he can't. The medium compound tyre is not in play at the minute, and Trappy, I think, is going to stay ahead. He's got the DRS ahead, and Acorn will not be able to manage to get the move done down towards Schlossgold at turn 4. So Trappy forming through, he's into P12, fresh out of the pit lane on that set of soft compound tyre. In terms of who's made their stops, by the way, I'm going to run that through now. Everyone has made their 1 stop, apart from TDB. TDB has already made 2 stops this race, so that's the mandatory 2 stop done for him. Everyone else has done 1 stop. So expect from round lap 20, I would think, drivers to pit in, obviously to do their mandatory 2 stop.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit later. I think they'll be stretching it. Well, Michalizzi obviously coming in now with that damage, but if you haven't got any damage, I think you'll be coming in round about 23, 24, 25 to put on a set of soft tyres and then obviously be rapid towards the end of the race. Cortez and Bjorn might have to come in a tiny bit earlier than that because their tyres will start struggling, whereas Tomer could just get away with things here. A lot of drivers starting to pick up penalties. It's very easy to cut the inside of turn 10, run wide out of turn 10, run wide out of turn 1. Is normally where you see a lot of drivers pick up the penalties. Cam rolls all over the back of Acorn there. I wonder whether we'll be able to get this move done because Acorn running very low on his ERS. It's Red Bull versus Mercedes, and a bit like Abu Dhabi, this should be fairly straightforward, but unlike Abu Dhabi, the Mercedes driver on the older tyres is able to stay ahead this time.
Yeah, Cam didn't want to go for the move down the inside line. I think that was fair play, actually, from Cam. He didn't want to try and get the move done on Acorn. There was going to be a very bad nutty pun, by the way, in all of that, if he did get the move done. So it's a good job it didn't happen. Acorn there in 12th, Cam Rules there in 13th. Trappy Formula just ahead of Pachuca. Pachuca gets caught on the curb slightly, coming out of turn 9, and then through the Red Bull Mobile right-hander of turn 10. And now, on the run towards someone you would imagine he's going to try and get the move done. As he sets the new fastest lap of the race for the 105, he just saunters alongside him and just overtakes as he's not even there, and Trappy is through and he's into P10, and Acorn is now into P13 because Cam Rules has got through and he's into P12. Pachuca though on the back of Trappy, not going to get the move done. Tinker's going to go for the move on Tinkan, sends it down the inside line in towards turn 4, a little bit late to that, but Tinkan now back behind Elting through and he's into P4. Current net lead of the race, I believe, is Thomas still on that set of medium compound tyre. I think he's probably going to go set us off towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I think Bjorn probably will be able to stretch into a set of softs as well, so I wouldn't write him out of this, and you never know, Cortez has got that bit of a gap, so I'd be surprised if the leader comes from outside, well, the winner comes from outside one of those top 3. Exclusive breaking news, and it is breaking, it's Jordan's pedals that stopped working, so make up your own mind about build quality of a certain company's pedals, but there you go, Jordan's pedals broke, and that is why he went straight on at turn number 9. Trappy now picking up a 3-second time penalty, clearly pushing hard. You can see how hard he's pushing. That is another fastest lap of the race. Patuca's going to be unable to battle, but might just be able to get dragged along here by Trappy Formula onto the back of Combi. Could be a sitting duck in a few moments' time. Halfway through the race, Cortez, Bjorn, the only Tomer, your top 3. The majority of the field, though, still having to make their final pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Trappy Formula is now beginning to pull away from Pachuca, but Pachuca, of course, for the Neverlast Racing Team, is doing a good job. Still on the back of Trappy, of course, representing the Absolute Units, and you would imagine the Absolute Units have been such a stoic force in terms of the 24 Hours of F1 event in the last 2 seasons. Barry Carrells as well, VSL Jordan obviously out of the race, so unfortunately, they're not going to be picking any points up for their driver. Cortez leading the way, Bjorn in second, Tomer in third, as we see Elting into the pit lane. So this is now lap 20 out of 36. This will be the time for Elting now to come into the pit lane and put on that set of soft compound tyre. 16 lap on a set of softs, I think, is absolutely no problem at all.
Yeah, this is, he's actually gone for a set of mediums. I was going to say, 16 laps on a set of softs is what you do in a regular one-stop race, as we have got another yellow flag there. I think that's just TDB going slowly. I think he might have had another slight spin. Hopefully he hasn't damaged himself. But yeah, Elting, he's going a bit aggressive here, trying to get the undercut, and perhaps knowing if he went for the softs, they'd be very second best at the end of this race, as Trappy Formula tries it round the outside, and Austria at turn 3 needs to be careful he doesn't get squeezed onto the curb, but he's got so much more traction coming off of that corner here. It's straight down the hill. Combi can't stay alongside, and that is Trappy up into 8th, and this might be a bit of a problem for Pachuca because it's really difficult to overtake at this part of the circuit.
Yeah, and Pachuca nearly went into the back of Combi there. In fact, there was contact with the front wing on the rear wing of the car of the QVR man ahead. But Pachuca, for Neverlast Racing, he is a man on a mission. I think Combi probably going to turn right towards the end of the pit lane here, and he goes right-hand side. I think he is definitely going to come into the pit lane to pot on probably a set of medium compound tyres, and Pachuca leaves him room on the outside and gets the job done still. And he's into P9, so Combi back into the pit lane. That is for his second stop in terms of the second stops in this race. Elting has made 2 stops, Litzy as well, TDB as well, and now Combi in the pit lane along with Acorn, so both of them now making their mandatory 2-stop strategy. And of course that is for the rules rather than against the rules, because if you do a 1-stop, simply you're going to end up possibly disqualified out of the race result at the end. Combi is going to get out just behind Ollie Flavel, I think, in all of this. Ollie's still to make another pit stop, by the way, but Combi, Adel pit in the QVR man, can now focus on the race beginning to come into play for him, and of course for QVR, as Radow has retired inside coming out the final corner, so he is out of the race coming out the final corner, which is unfortunate because he was right down towards the back of the field for the VOR Nifos team. So right out now, out of the race, and he's the second DNF bar Jordan. Combi on the back of Ollie Flavel. Is he going to get the move done in towards Schlossgold? Dives it, sends it down the inside line. Can the Haas get alongside the Williams? Nearly, and Nolan is back into the pit lane as well. Now Combi on the outside line, now coming in towards turn 6. This will be bold and brave and brilliant if he can pull off the move, and he does. Fresh set of softs. Ollie Flavel has just been done like a kipper. Combi is finished into 13th.
Yeah, great move from Combi, and I'll tell you who's starting to make some moves through the field for ERT, the only Tommer. Now those tyres, those fresher mediums, are starting to take an advantage. He got within DRS range of Bjorn, sailed past him on the run down towards turn number 2, and now he starts to close in on Cortez. He knows that he can maybe just stretch a bit longer on that set of medium tyres. Yes, he'll lose out, but he will have fresher softs at the end of the race, as Nolan's now gone for a set of soft tyres. Toxic Tomato and Camrose battling up the hill here. The Alpine down the inside into turn number 3. Cam's going to try and hold it off around the outside, but I don't think he's going to have the pace to do so. And a bit of a double whammy. He was ahead at the DRS point. So Toxic now into 11th. Cam down into 12th place. They still have to make their pit stops. It is Eltink leading out of those that have done their 2 stops, but he's on the mediums. Nolan's 4 seconds behind him on a set of softs. He'll be faster for the next 7 or 8 laps. After that, they might start to have problems.
I think, though, 4 seconds the gap behind Eltink. He'll try and catch him, I would imagine, a second lap to begin off with, and then around 5/10 lap. If he's still within 5/10 of a lap, coming through in towards round lap 30, he is going to have a chance to try and get Eltink later on in this race. It has now settled down in terms of the on-track action. 2 Welshmen, of course, as you mentioned, Toxic Tomato and Cam Rules getting the move done there into 11th position. Cam Rules now down into 12th. Combi in behind as well. He's now disposed of Ollie Flavel quite easily. There is a yellow flag through the middle sector. I think that's TDB again, who was, I thought he had right turn plate damage on the car, but he doesn't. So the Vapor Man is going to still be continuing. I think he had a slight moment, but he has recovered the car down there in 17th position. Cortez leading the way, though, still yet to pit, as along with Tomer and Bjorn just in behind. These guys still committing quite late on in towards us. Now Bjorn, I think, is going to make the move right towards into the pit lane. So the IFR man is now into the pit lane, and this is going to be absolutely fascinating to see where Bjorn comes out. You would imagine he's going to rejoin behind Nolan and possibly ahead of Toxic Tomato in this.
I think he'll be ahead of Toxic Tomato. I think it's going to be a drag race coming out the pit lane on the run down towards turn number 3, perhaps, with Nolan here. He's going to have the slightly fresher tyres. Nolan's not exactly flying his way up to the back of Eltink. He only caught a couple of tenths of a second last time around, and we'll see. We've got Rally into the pits as well. We'll see where Bjorn comes out here. He's going to be well clear. He's going to be clear of Eltink.
He is going to be clear of Eltink, but Eltink has got the run coming out of turn 1, and now with no DRS, he's going to have to try and rely on that slipstream alone on the run up towards turn 3. Can he get the job done? No, he just sits and waits in behind, and that's exactly what I would do in that situation when you've got a set of soft runner ahead of you and a set of soft runner behind you. Bjorn trying to break that toe, and Eltink is going to try and follow that now. Obviously on that set of mediums they'll begin to come into play later on. You would imagine that Bjorn will have the pace. I think we saw Raleigh, by the way, through on Toxic Tomato as well up towards turn 3, so Raleigh now through and he's into P10 on Toxic Tomato. Really good action still happening out on track. The front 2 though are in. Cortez and Tomer are in, so this now means Tomer, where is he going to come out on track? I think it's going to be a drag race possibly between Bjorn and Eltink, and Tomer coming out the pit lane. Yeah,
Cortez should be fairly clear of them, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it could be pretty close with Tomer. Mats is now into the pits as well, so that throws Tinkan into the lead, but I don't think it'll be too long before he starts coming into the pits, so we'll see where they are. Bjorn's now within DRS range of Patuka here, and I think Patuka might end up getting the only Tomer. No, he's going to stay just behind him, so that has worked out quite well for Cortez and the only Tomer, and Tomer's stayed within that DRS range as well. He's suddenly looking good for this race. Down the inside goes Bjorn on the Aston Martin, just shoves him over the curb ever so slightly, and I think Eltink might be able to take advantage with that. And you are quite right, James. Eltink needs to just stay in contact with these, because in the final few laps he will have the best tyres.
Well, I mean, look at the DRS train. It now spans Cortez all the way down to Patuka. Nolan's not really having an impact on that set of softs. He's not really gaining the time, and that's what we said. The set of mediums for Eltink probably working better than the set of softs around him. So he's just going to stay within that second gap. Bjorn, only 4 tenths ahead of him. Tinkan now into the pit lane, and Tinkan's probably going to come out around Nolan's sort of area, I would imagine, possibly in that gap between Nolan and Matt. So he's now into the pit lane. But what we do have, Trappy Formula, I think is still on the one-stop strategy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's still yet to pit. Everyone, bar Toxic Tomato and Ollie Flavel, have made 2 stops. So, Trappy Formula, I think he would have came into the pit in the last lap around, but he's not. And now Cortez is going to go side by side with them on the run up towards turn 3. And Cortez is going to absolutely sail on by. And the O Olimpo man is through on the Neverlast Racing Man, and he's through and he's into the lead of the race. So Cortez leads, Trappy Formula second. Now, how important is that for Cortez? He's been caught up by Toma, obviously on that to the soft compound tyre, and with the DRS now in effect. Cortez, though, he's got a car between himself and Toma and behind. He's got to try and work that to his advantage now.
Yeah, but gaining 3 seconds, I think it is going to be very difficult. Oh, well, it's not going to matter now because the only Toma's got a time penalty. Talk about instant commentator's curse. I wish I could have this. I wish I could have this prediction power with the lottery tickets, and I wouldn't be doing commentary on a Saturday night. I can tell you that one. But yeah, the only Toma there just ran slightly wide, perhaps in the dirty air. So maybe getting that car in between, despite not having the effect Cortez would have liked instantly, definitely has had a help. And there goes the only Toma, flies past Trappy Formula. Trappy's got a bit more ERS here, and will get the DRS, but you can just see the traction coming off of turn number 1. He's not really going to be able to do anything, so now it's Bjorn in the pound seats all of a sudden. He has no penalties.
And now Trappy does have the run up towards turn 3. Can he get the move done? Slight bit of contact between them both. Tom and just speeds away, almost as if he wasn't even there, to be honest, Trappy Formula. And now Bjorn for the R4 team, right on the back of the Neverlast Racing team. Where have we seen this one before? And Bjorn absolutely sends it down the inside line. That is a very late lunge. Max Verstappen-esque down the inside line. And Bjorn is through, he's into P3. Trappy Formula down into P4. That was late on the brakes, but Bjorn is through, and he's into P3. And that absolutely mattered.
I hope Charles Leclerc weren't watching it. Well, if he is, hello. Hope you haven't lost your girlfriend out your flat this time when you're watching Twitch. But yeah, that was flashbacks to 2019, perhaps at a slightly different corner, of course, when it was Verstappen versus Leclerc. Elting got held up quite badly there, where Trappy was coming into the pit lane, but not a lot Trappy Formula could do about that one. But you were right, Bjorn, absolutely crucial that he got that move done. Elting's been held up in all of that. Nolan's now up into 5th place, but he's got Tin Can starting to close into him. So the Alpha Tauris are having a pretty good race, even though, of course, there is no team situation with all of this. And where is Trappy Formula going to come out after his pit stop? He's in 10th place, but he's got by far the best tyres out of those ahead of him. Combi not too far ahead with 6 lap older tyres. Patuka with the worst tyres behind him. Toxic Tomatoes coming into the pits, the final driver to make his second stop. How must he be feeling after those spins in the pit lane earlier on? Because he was involved in this lead battle. Now he's about to drop down to 15th place.
He is. He's going to be side by side with Cam on the run up towards turn 3. Now the 2 Welshmen are going to go at it once again. Cam, of course, Division 5 driver in TTML. Toxic Tomato, I think, former champion, and they make contact in towards turn 3. And Cam was totally committed down the inside line there. And he drives away from the scene as if he hasn't caused anything. But unfortunately for him, I think that might be a wait up there for Cam Rules. Certainly, if not a penalty. Cam Rules down into 14th. Toxic Tomato getting his fair share of contact out on track. He's in 15th position. Unfortunately for him, as actually we missed this, and now Toma now on the back, now in front of Cortez. So we missed that battle there between Toma and Cortez, and now Toma on the road towards turn 3 gets the move done. He's through and he's into the lead of the race. Cortez there in second, Bjorn in third. Cam Rules all down the inside of Toxic Tomato. He drove away from the scene as if he was guilty.
I'd say he drove away from the scene as if to say that was your fault, mate, not mine. That was fair enough, I think. I think it was fair enough from Cam. The door was open and Toxic decided to close it, and by the time he'd done that, Cam was unable to stop the car. So I think it was a bit late from Toxic Tomato to try to defend that position, and things just go from bad to worse for him in this race. And Toma, as you said, taking a lead, 7 laps to go at the end of this one, but Bjorn, he's just hanging there in 3rd place. I'll have a quick check how many warnings the IFR man has got, and it's been a while since I've done this, so apologies if it takes a while. He is on 2 warnings at this moment in time, so needs to be careful in the final few laps that he doesn't pick up another one. Otherwise, the advantage swings back towards the ERT man.
Yeah, looking at the penalties as well, everyone bar Bjorn, Nolan, Tinkan, Matt and Raleigh have picked up penalties. Cortez, though, to the outside line now on Toma, trying to get the race lead. He'll get the switch back underneath, though, coming through Remus at turn 3. And now on the run down in towards Schlossgold to turn 4. Can Cortez now try and find a little bit of grip down in towards the inside of turn 4? He's got to try and think about going around the outside line, but he will switch it back on the exit. But Thomas stays ahead. Nice driving there. Now Bjorn right involved in this. Tinkan and Nolan, like the LOE battles of old. Tinkan and Nolan, 5th and 6th position, and now Tinkan back through on Nolan, who got the move done in towards turn 3, but the Excel man against Relentless. This is what I paid my mortgage and my TV license to see. Tinkan and Nolan having a fight out. Excel versus Relentless. This is what we really came here for.
James, you're in your 20s. You haven't got a mortgage. Give over, son.
I haven't. I can confirm that.
Yeah, I can confirm. We've got some great battling at the front of the field, and the only Thomas leading this snake down towards turn number 1, just trying to break that toe. Very low on his ERS. Oh, Cortez has had a bit of a wobble coming out of turn number 1, and that might just save Toma ever so slightly. It's going to have to be a bit of a late move here from Cortez, and he's going to have to do it all the way around the outside. Junior team versus the senior team, and Toma just holds on to that position for now. Bjorn can just carry on at the moment and just wait for all this to happen, and he might even be able to take the victory out on track if these two keep battling, as Cortez tries it all the way around the outside again at turn number 3. There's 4, there's a bit more wheel banging, and now it's going to be a straight drag race through turn number 6. Who's going to come out ahead? And in the end, you can't hold it round the outside there. Cortez is now in the lead, but they're taking a lot out of this set of soft tyres. And Elting, since he obviously got held up by traffic coming into the pits, he has really dropped back. 3 seconds behind with a penalty. 4th is the best the Alpine man will do.
Yeah, but if these two begin to get battling and Bjorn joins in the fight, I think still Elting might have a chance, actually, of picking up the race win. 5 laps to go, anything can happen in Formula 1. Toma tries to launch it down the inside line once again on Cortez, not to get the move done, however, but he will have the run with very limited DRS. He's going to be derating up the straight in towards turn 3. Bjorn in behind is going to wait in behind and see if there's any contact between them both, but the former QVR man of Cortez tries to go all the way around the outside once again on Toma, the ERT man, and now Cortez goes side by side once again, and I think Toma's just going to come out on top. It's now a drag race though, down in towards turn 4. Wish I had a better camera angle for this, but Cortez now trying to go all the way around the outside. Toma just squeezes them out slightly, and Toma through, and he's into the lead of the race. Cortez there in 2nd, Bjorn in 3rd, battle on for 3rd, and this is the battle that we want to see really for Elting to try and get involved once again. He's there in P4 doing a fantastic job on that set of medium compounded tyres, but Toma, Cortez and Bjorn, these 3 seem to have it between them.
Yeah, definitely. A bit further back for never last. Patuka's got ahead of the man who did start in last, and that was Combi, of course, for QVR. So Patuka now up into 10th place, taking advantage of that fresher set of soft tyres, as we've got another yellow flag. I think that is a Red Bull. That is Camrose who's had a mistake. So big spin from the Welshman. He's dropped down into 15th. Thomas in the lead again. Just got to wonder how long is he going to be able to stay for. If they keep swapping every lap, the only Toma might be ahead when it matters, crossing the finish line, but that will only be good enough for 2nd as things stand. Cortez now with 45% more ERS. I think he's playing a bit of a long game here.
He is, but look at Bjorn in behind, 70% of ERS compared to Cortez on 50, Toma only on 7, so Bjorn has got everybody's number in front of him rather than behind. Elting's got 10%, he's trying to drastically catch up to the back of the top 3, but they're just beginning to pull away once again. Tinkan there in 5th, Raleigh is going side by side with Max though down in towards turn number 4 at Schlossgoal, and now Raleigh down the inside line of the Ecos man. The Ecos man has the traction on the outside, but the outside line will always favour coming in towards him. He nearly dummies him, in fact, coming in towards turn number 6, but he doesn't get the move done, so Max is through and he's into P7, Raleigh through and he's into P8. Now Toma, final sector seems to be so good for Toma. The ERT man pulls away, 6/10 of a second. Elting now picks up another penalty, that's 6 seconds now for him, but Toma seems to have an advantage through that final sector, and seemingly Cortez is the one that struggled, but through the first and middle sector, given the DRS, Cortez closes in again.
Yeah, but he's far enough behind now, coming through turn number 1, that he's not able to get the move done into 3, and it's always brave to do it. The only Toma just in that clean air seems to be able to get a better exit every single time, despite having that lack of ERS, and again, Cortez is just saving things at the moment, and Bjorn, that racer in him, is going to want to go for the victory out on track, as that is TDB, who is now a lap down. He's had a Bit of a nightmare race here for Vapor, of course, that former team, although all drivers deciding to come back together. I believe TDB is now part of, I believe he might be part of NSX, no relation to the Honda. And we've got 2 cars with the Honda engines in at the front of the field. Red Bull of only Tomer leading as we're about to come on to the penultimate lap, but it's still looking pretty good for Bjorn all of a sudden. And that penalty for Eltink will now be really costly. He stands to drop down to 6th place behind Tin Can and Nolan.
Yeah, 5.6 seconds to Nolan. I can make it up. As for Elting, Cortez runs very wide coming out of turn 1. But now, the first time we've actually seen a deployment of ERS from Cortez. I think he now wants this out on track. The former QVR man, signed by Shazoo, of course, in the recent weeks. Cortez going to try and run down the hill in towards Schlossgold of turn 4, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. The ERT man holds sway at the minute. Cortez there in second, Bjorn there in third. Further down the field as well, Trappy Formula. Where's he came from in this battle? Now on the back of Raleigh, goes all the way around the outside of turn 3. What a move! Trappy Formula all the way around the outside. The never lapse racing, never say die attitude around the outside. Is he going to get Ecos Matt as well then in towards turn 4? No, he's quite not. But Trappy Formula through and he's into P8. Absolute waltzed around the outside of Raleigh as if he wasn't even there.
Yeah, definitely. An absolute unit. I mean, I'm closing my name there. Brilliant there by Trappy Formula. Those fresher soft tyres. He's got the freshest of everyone's alongside Toxic Tomato, who's now got up into 13th place. He is using them brilliantly as Cortez is right on the back of the only Tomer as we come on to the final lap of the race, and TGB is coming out on circuit here. This might just end up giving someone the DRS down the straight here, and look at Cortez. He's absolutely flown around the outside of the only Tomer, and he's going to get the DRS down into turn number 4.
Could he pull away from Bjorn as well? I mean, it's, what, a second now? 3 seconds the gap, possibly to try and pull out? I don't think so, but Cortez now leads. Tomer there second, and now Trappy Formula's got the move done on Matt up the hill, in towards turn 3, so the both Ferraris fight to that, but Trappy Formula through, and he's into 7th. Matt's there in P8. Cortez leading the way, though. Tomer there in second, Bjorn in third. We are now just half a lap away from ending out on track, but Cortez leading the way. Tomer there in second, Bjorn there in third, doing a fantastic job out on track, and now Cortez up through and towards the final couple of corners. The Shazoo man, now known as, of course, racing for O Olimpo, is going to take the win out on track, but Bjorn will take the win on penalties. Cortez to the line, wins here in Austria, but Tomer second. Bjorn, though, on penalties, takes the race win. So Bjorn wins, Cortez second, Tomer there in third, Eltink in fourth. He is going to lose position to Tin Can and Nolan, so he's going to finish in P6. Tin Can there in fourth, only 3/10 off in the end. Nolan there in fifth, Trappy Formula in seventh, Matt's there in eighth, gains positions, and so does Raleigh, so he's up into seventh. Combi there coming across the line to finish in 10th. Patuka there in 11th. Michalizzi will finish in 12th, and I think Patuka actually has had a bit of a mistake as he actually nearly ran out of fuel coming across the line. Patuka there across the line in 11th. Michalizzi now to come across the line to finish in 12th. We have got TDB in all of this. I think he's coming around the final couple of corners as well. Toxic Tomato to the line in 13th. What would have it been for him? Acorn is going to be coming around the final corner. The Speed man coming across the line to finish in 14th position. Good result, I've got to say, for the Speed boys as he ran out of fuel right at the end of the race. Cam Rules across the line in 15th. Ollie in 16th, now up to 15th. Charlie Harris in 17th, and we just wait on Vapor TDB to come across the line. Fastest lap of the race set by TDB right at the end with 1 lap's worth of fuel and 1 lap's worth of soft compound tyres, of course, on that car. No fastest lap attempt, of course, and no fastest lap point. Driver of the day, though, awarded by the in-game fans, Elting.
An interesting one.
Very interesting one indeed, but it is to the top step of the podium. Bjorn kept it clean. Those 2 warnings were enough for him to keep the race victory, of course. If he got another warning, he would have picked up a 3-second penalty, but fantastic win from Bjorn's perspective. Cortez drove a fantastic race, got the move done for the race win on the final lap of the race, coming across the line, but Tomer finishing in P3 as well. Gotta say, very good racing. Can't wait, of course, to see what happens in the second race that myself and Luke are going to be covering, and that is, of course, going to be in Zandvoort in around about 5 to 10 minutes time, I would say, in terms of getting everyone in and the logistics around it. But Bjorn, it is a polar opposite of how they started off the race. third gets first, second gets second, and first gets third. Quite interesting. But Bjorn wins, Cortez in second, Tom are there in third, Tinkan in fourth, Relentless Nolan there in fifth. Showed very good pace, I've got to say, on that sort of soft compound tyre. Eltink in sixth, Raleigh in seventh, Matt in eighth, Trappy Formula in ninth, Combi run off the top 10, Pachuca in 11th, Michalizzi in 12th, Toxic Tomato 13th, Acorn in 14th, Ollie Flavel in 15th, Cam Rules in 16th, Charlie Harris in 17th, TDB did pick up the fastest lap there in 18th, so all of those get points. Radau and Jordan, of course, with that the failure of his equipment down there right at the back of the field. But Luke, one race down, one race to go.
Yeah, one race down, one race to go. Just want to say a big thank you to FRL Ginger, who's donated some money, and as well to IFR Esports, who have donated £20. So big props to both of you. We're going to now quickly try to get the drivers in for the next session, which there's a few more changes to Zandvoort than what there was to France, so this could take a bit of a while. And talking of that, I actually need to change the track to Zandvoort before I start criticising anyone for invites. Let's make sure I hold up my end of the bargain. Hopefully we'll get a similar race to Zandvoort as to what we've just seen at Austria, because that was fantastic. I imagine, though, it's going to be a bit tougher to overtake around here.
Yeah, I think so, to be honest. Zandvoort is one of those tracks where obviously it's going to be tight in nature, and obviously we'll see how this race is going to unfold. 4.3 kilometres, 2.7 miles in length. But while, of course, we get this lobby back up and running, I'm going to throw it back over to J. Cole, of course, who will take us through, I'm sure, a promotional video about both of our charities here tonight. So we'll see you probably in a couple of minutes' time. We are off, I think, by the way.
Yeah, we are. I'm just trying to invite everyone, aren't I?
Yeah, I know Duncan wants an invite. I'll send him one. Don't blame you.
That's invite things, so they will get one at some point.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway down the list.
Oh.
Come on, Tom, get him a lobby, son.
Let's have a look. Who's changed?
I think there's been some really last minute changes on this one. The thing is, a few of them I don't think have realised it's the same lobby and have just left.
Yeah, I mean, well, they probably have to get setups and everything.
Yeah. Come on, at this time of the game, you should have a setup for every.
Who needs an invite? Let's have a look. Combi's game closed. Oh, he's back in. That's fine.
Yeah, I've sent him another one.
Lobby isn't online yet. It is. I'll send Eltink another invite.
Oh, come on. I think the PlayStation's got put up with inviting people.
Brandon Glover needs an invite, apparently. Yeah. Mm. I mean, it's all right on my end actually at the minute. So I've got Lewis on my friends list, so he's got an invite.
Yeah.
And I need. If Draco, if you're listening, we'll be ready probably in about 2 minutes' time. So keep them stalled until then. Yeah, he's got an invite off me. So was Brandon Glover.
Zandvoort, and then I'm probably going to have to search for Netherlands as well, aren't
Yeah. I think we should have
I'll-
everyone in. We've got 18.
No, we're not doing too bad, are we? I feel sorry for me doing this tomorrow morning.
The elevator
So-
music will have to wake her up.
I've got to do this, then go straight to my uncle's, then I'm having my booster jab.
Getting your booster jab tomorrow. I'm getting mine on Monday.
Yeah.
Should be quite good.
I thought, get it done tomorrow. If I'm going to be ill, I'm going to be ill on work's time, goddammit.
Yeah.
On Monday. When I might be heading to York because someone managed to roll a forklift truck.
York. Lovely place, York. Very
Yeah.
nice.
I'll make sure I can spend some time at the Christmas market.
Oh, Christmas market. Me and Rosie went there in 2019, and it was so nice. So nice.
Yeah.
But whether or not it's
Like,
changed
I
since
had
then.
I had some training in York in 2019.
Yeah.
Like, we're so nice there. So it was
Who needs an
ADRT
invite still?
ADRT ball.
ADRT Bostle, he's already in.
Oh, is it?
Yep, we're just
Right.
waiting on one. And I think it is... It's somebody.
Right.
Brandon's in, we're just waiting on one more, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
It's not Elting, is it? It is Elting. Yeah, that's who we're waiting on. Waiting on Elting. He's probably gone to get a setup, and then he's probably going to join back and realise, oh, I shouldn't have left the
He's had a few invites.
lobby, yeah. I mean, most of these guys I can pronounce. I think Pharrell Fury's in here, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mr. Honey Badger's in. Let's have a look.
The thing is, Elton is on my friends list.
Yeah, he's probably just gone to get a setup. Or he's gone
Yeah.
for a toilet break or something. Come on, man.
No, they're all asking for invites pretty much as soon as the race is finished. Like, I can only type names so quick.
Oh, God. I mean, he's not even responding on Discord. Oh, now! There we go. There's 20 in now. That must be him. Yeah, Elting's in. Right.
Right. Well, no, I need to keep you open, don't I, really? That list of who's racing for which team.
Right, I'm gonna message Jacob. Well, you're probably gonna hear us anyways. We are good to go. Oh,
I'll mute my end then.
no worries. Welcome back, everyone, to the 24 Hours of F1 event. We are here once again for round number 8 of the championship, of the event, I should say, as we take it, of course, the Dutch Grand Prix from the Zandvoort circuit. If you are just tuning in at this stage and missed the last round, my name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as your lead commentator for my final stint for tonight, and then, of course, I got to do Abu Dhabi tomorrow. But joining me in the commentary box, he's going to be doing the mid-morning shift as well, at the breakfast show, as he likes to call it. It's Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. I was going to tell a really dreadful joke to do with Abu Dhabi, but I've decided we don't want to lose any of the viewers. So I thought it's better than not. Yes, if you weren't with us for the last race, where were you? It's been absolutely fantastic action, as it has been for the past 7 hours and 32 minutes. We are running slightly behind schedule, but we should be slowly heading back onto time. And yes, this time it is the Zandvoort circuit, Austria. Many places that we see overtaking, drivers swapping around through turn 3 and 4, battling all the way through turn 7 and 8. This one, James, probably all going to be about that DRS run down towards turn number 1. But you are going to see plenty of fast action.
You are going to see a lot of fast action, I think, out on track. Of course, that is down into the Tarzan corner that Luke is referring to. We've got Skyflack as well. We've got Ari Lundijk as well in terms of the corner names. I really hope that if you're a Dutch viewer that I've pronounced them right. If not, you can come and at me in the comment section. I do not mind whatsoever. But we are here, of course, for charity once again for the 24 Hours of F1 event. The timer, I think, has now restarted itself. And are we about to go, though? The 30-second countdown is back on. So we've still got a little bit of time. But, Luke, obviously, let's just reflect quickly on that Austrian race. It was a fantastic race. What can everyone expect tonight?
Well, I think what everyone can expect around here, of course, it's going to be compulsory two-stop strategies. Zandvoort is normally quite a hard circuit on tyres because of the many fast, long right-handers. Turns 7, 8, 9 really do come to mind for all that. So expect plenty of frantic action and plenty of dives into turn number 1 because it could pretty much be, that could be the one main overtaking spot. And also, I expect to see WR Felt for Nordic Esports. They will be the team starting from last place.
They will be indeed. Brandon Glover, though, on the run down in towards turn 1. Let's run on board with him as we go on board for a lap of Zandvoort. Through turn 1, the right-hander, as Falco's retired already from the sessions. He's starting right at the back of the field. LRB currently leading the way for Royal Fury. That is all going to change, and Brandon Glover goes for a spin. Why is it I go on board with somebody, they end up spinning? Brandon Glover has ended up spinning. Tinkan then will go on board with as well as Duncan. Will go on board then with Duncan on the run-up at his home track, of course, on the run-up in towards turn number 7. Ash Skyflack are now coming through the right-hander of turn 8 to the end of the first sector, looking too bad from Duncan's perspective. I've just clicked on, by the way, he's German and not Dutch, so I apologise. Duncan coming through in towards turn 9, though, and then in towards turn 10. You'd imagine it'd be the quickest man out on track. He has got, in theory, the quickest car as well in terms of the McLaren and in terms of his team as well, being Barry Carrell's. But Duncan now in towards the end of the middle sector, 48.6 through the middle sector, not looking too bad there at all. Now through turn 11, then through turn 12. Tinkan, Kryptonite, L-Tink right up there in the vanguard as well. But Duncan coming in towards Ari Lundijk at turns 13, and then through the banking, of course, at 14, reduced by 30% since we last came here in 1980. And now Duncan on the run to the line. It's probably going to be the quickest man on track. What a 9.9, and look at that for domination. He's 4.5 tenths ahead of Kryptonite and Combi there in third. QVR looking very good in terms of Combi's perspective, but Duncan, who else on pole position?
I think we sort of expected that. No disrespect to everyone else. There's a reason why this man has been in challenges, and who knows, could well see him in esports in the future. Unfortunately for Kryptonite, you can't give Duncan a penalty this time around because he's not in charge of the stewards, but a pretty decent job there by Mr. Louis Dupont to get himself into second place. Combi showing sort of what he can do in qualifying this time around. He had to start last in Austria. He'll be starting third here. Not too many invalidations, only one, and that was for Lewis, and I think that's just the nature of the circuit. Track limits around here are pretty much summed up by grass and gravel, so you don't tend to push them as hard as you would at Austria, for example.
Yeah, definitely so. It is Duncan, though, out on top. Kryptonite there in second, Combi in third, L-Tink in fourth, FRL Ginger in fifth, Rita in sixth, Tinkan 7th, Honey Badger in 8th, looking good. Tiramisu in 9th, Silent in 10th, Bottle in 11th, Lebano in 12th for Vapor, Cam Rules, the LRB and Khalifa ran off the top 15, Brandon Glover for Alfie Speedway Racer in 18th, Lewis getting disqualification and Falco starting, luckily, right from the back of the field, because of course that disqualification could have ended him up in 19th position rather than being in P20, but I think because Falk retired right at the start of the lap, that is why he starts right at the back of the field. Once again, it is clear. Full wet races to come, by the way, at 5 o'clock in the morning. So if you do want to try and wake up for that, you can. And, of course, you're going to be doing the breakfast show tomorrow as well, Luke, which I think is going to be very interesting to see how, obviously, we go out through the night. Obviously, if there's going to be any troubles in terms of, obviously, what we've experienced in the past with the streams and obviously the game, PSN, there could be many factors that could go wrong, but we are roughly around 6 or 7 minutes behind schedule at this stage, which is not looking too bad at all. And just to give an update actually on our total so far, I'm just refreshing it, it is £584, if I'm not mistaken, for the Young Minds charity, and for Special Effect, £271. So in total, I make that around £800 raised so far between both the charities. Keep it up. If we can reach £1,000 by the end of our stint, I'll be very, very pleased.
I was going to say, we've got £800 in 7.5 hours. I don't see why 900 isn't achievable. We might be getting £10 from ADRT Bottle if he does not get a podium in this race. He's starting in 11th place. He's starting not in a bad... If this was a normal one stop, I'd say it's not too bad of a position. But of course, because it's a two-stop, that sort of negates the power of the alternate strategy. So if I was him, I'd get his PayPal details ready, because I think he's going to end up donating £10 after this.
Yeah, down there in 11th position. He's on that set of soft compound tyre, as is everyone else. It's a bit of a 50-50 ratio further down the field, in fact. Bottle, Cam Rules, Khalifa, Brandon Glover and Y Racer all on a set of soft compound tyre. Duncan, Kryptonite, of course, and all of the top 10 qualifying on that set of soft compound tyre. Jav, by the way, saying, will you shave your head if we hit a grand James Baldhead? How dare you, Jav? How dare you? No, unfortunately I won't, because I have to try and preserve the last bit of the hair that I've actually got. I mean, I had a haircut a couple of weeks ago, but honestly, you do not want to see me at all. Luckily, there's no face cam on me.
Yeah, I'm very glad there's no face cam on all of this, to be honest. You probably start to realise what kind of conditions I live in. It's like Lenny on The Simpsons, where he's like, please don't tell anyone how I live. That's pretty much how I feel at this moment in time. But, yeah, we'll see how this race goes. Duncan, of course, his home circuit. I've seen him do well around here in other leagues as well, so I'd expect a pretty decent performance from him. I'm impressed by Kryptonite in second place. I think he's put in a good performance. Elting looked good in the first sort of 24 laps of the last race, but he got held up slightly by Trappy Formula, then picked up a few penalties, and it just all started going slightly wrong for him. This is going to be very fascinating. A lot of drivers starting on that set of the soft tyres. 2 softs, 1 medium. We are going to see, I reckon, from everyone. It's just what order they do it in could be the key here. But Duncan on pole position, Kryptonite on second. This run down towards turn 1 could be crucial, James.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll run on board with Duncan. There is his view down and towards turn 1. Kryptonite on the inside line. So this is the dirtier part of the track, because obviously the marbles and everything collects up on that right alongside the pit wall. So Krypton, you would imagine, is probably going to have the poorer run down towards turn 1 compared to Duncan. But running down in towards turn number 1. Here we go. Round number 8 of the 24 Hours of F1 event is about to begin, and the 5 red lights are coming on. Finally, they are coming on. Mr. Duncan Hoffman and Krypton going side by side heading towards someone as the lights down, away we go, and Duncan gets a better start than Krypton, who obviously bogs down off the start. Now Combi for QVR tries to go all the way around the outside of turn 1. There's a little bit of contact between Eltic and Ginger. Honey Badger up in position, up 2 positions in fact by Risa and Tin Can coming through turn 2 and then towards the bank into turn 3. Duncan leads the way, Combi there in second, Eltic in third, Krypton in fourth, Ginger in fifth, Honey Badger in sixth, and Honey Badger's round gets contacted there by Tin Can on the outside. A little bit of a loss there from Tin Can. Honey Badger in the wall, Silent also in the wall and behind, but Duncan leads the way coming through Skyfleck for the first time. Combi there in second, Eltink in third, side by side further down the field. Tiramisu has made up good positions, Bottle there up to 9th as well, and best of the sort of stuff, the sort of medium runners is Libanow in 11th position, but Duncan leading the way, Combi in second, Eltink in third. Apart from that bit of contact between Tinkan and Honey Badger, all clean.
Yeah, I think Eco Silent went round as well. We've got a few more drivers swapping positions. Brandon and Falk, who's had a fantastic start, considering he's on the mediums. 20th to 15th is very good indeed, and you've got Lewis and Pharrell Fiore here battling the relentless driver on the inside for 11, that's the outside for 12, and he will end up losing that position. But a great start from Duncan, starting on the dirty side of the grid, turned out to be Kryptonite's Kryptonite. It was a bit of a dreadful getaway from him, and look at Eltink all over the back of Combi here. He's going to go for an early one down the inside. Ooh. Speedy Racers in the gravel, but down the inside goes Eltink in the Alpine. He's up into second, and he needs to get onto the back of Duncan by the end of this lap, really.
Yeah, great move by Elting down the inside line. He was so committed, he actually took the outside of the banking and looped in down the inside line and got the run from there. And now he's into P2. So fantastic stuff by Elting. Side by side now between Tinkan and Risa. The Irishman struggling there for the Neverlast Racing Team. But the XL man now he's into P6. Tinkan did very well here in Eloise, if I'm not mistaken. And now the AlphaTauri is under pressure from the Aston Martin and behind. And again, we've got the AlphaTauri and the Aston Martin and behind again. Tiramisu and Bossel. Bossel there in P9, not struggling at this moment in time. He is just a little way off the pace there compared to the Jacksman ahead, but Duncan leading the way, Eltic in second, Combi in third, 1.2 seconds the gap over Duncan. We saw the last time he raced here, of course, Singapore, he won by 25 seconds, 1.3 seconds already.
Yeah, not bad whatsoever. Fortunately for Falk, his good start's kind of gone a bit south. He's had a spin at turn number 10. This middle sector really tricky, really starts to put a lot of pressure on your tyres, as Old School's just giving some, Mark's giving some people some sign-up advice in the chat here for PSGL to say don't take out Kryptonite. It's probably a wise idea, for being perfectly honest, unless you want to get a 5-second penalty every single week. Dunker's he's doing what we'd expect. from Duncan. Let's be honest with back of ours at the moment. He's absolutely flying away. As we've got now Lever now.
Lovely
trying to
move.
get past Cam Rules using those medium tyres. I'm surprised they're as good as they are at this point of the race. And Khalifa trying to get past the other Red Bull as well. Of course, Max Verstappen winning this race in real life. The first time we'd seen it get here in 36 years. But the Red Bull struggling a bit more here in 11th and 12th. Cam Rules for, I believe, Esports Wales. And Khalifa, of course, for ERT. And Khalifa seems to have the pace at the moment. It's pretty much single file at this part of the circuit, though.
Yeah, LRB in behind as well. The RFR man coming under pressure from Brandon Glover. Brandon, of course, a very avid racer in the league racing communities. They're in 14th position on that sort of soft compound tyre. Is he going to have a run on LRB running down in towards turn 12? Not quite. He's under pressure there, though, from the back of Lewis in behind, and Lewis there is 15th position. Duncan leading the way, Eltink in second, doing a good job so far. Combi just doesn't look like he's living up with the pace so far of Duncan and Eltink. Onto lap 4 we go. Kryptonite in behind there in 4th, Ginger there in 5th, Rita getting closer, Tinkan running down in towards turn 1, not quite close up, but both Red Bulls are going to go side by side. It's all hell for leather down in towards someone as LRB tries to go down the inside line of Cam Rules, and there's a bit of decent contact there between them both, and Cam Rules now sent spinning the Mercedes there, and now down the inside line, Cam Rules and Lewis now get into contact, and Brandon Glover in fact is the one into the wall. So Lewis there was not caught up in contact with Brandon Glover. Into the wall he went, and unfortunately for Cam it looks like he's desyncing slightly, and it's just causing a few problems.
Yeah, I think LRB ended up unfortunately slightly inside the Red Bull. Just Red Bull and Mercedes can't stay away from each other, can they? I think that's the problem here. But yeah, shame for Cam Rules that he did have that issue. He's now in 12th place, and he does look to be having a few connection issues. Duncan's doing a brilliant job at the front, but Eltink as well, he's really pushed hard. Used up all of his ERS. He was just clipping ever so slightly on the run down towards turn number 11 and 12, but he's got outside of the DRS range of Combi, who could start to come under some severe pressure soon from Kryptonite. Here is the Ferrari trying to go all the way round that bank in here, following Combi, who's going to take a really aggressive line to the inside, and I wonder if Kryptonite's going to try that high to low line. He's sort of dummying the Haas here down the inside. He goes. Combi's able to hold off for now and has the grip to hold on to that position, but this battling is going to hold the two of them up and could just allow Ginger, Tinkan, Reese and some of these others, Tiramisu and Bottle as well, to get involved.
Yeah, Mike, by the way, in the comment section saying about Cam in terms of his POV, they ghosted inside of each other. It's simple as that, and that's exactly what we saw, of course, on Spectator Cam. So luckily, in terms of what we saw from the driver's POV, and from what we saw, they're actually in sync for once, which is unbelievable. Duncan leading the way, Eltink in second, Combi in third, Kryptonite in fourth, Ginger in fifth, and Krypton now putting Combi under a lot of pressure. We said he didn't really have the pace, as Tinkan has gone up for a little bit of a moment coming out of turn 9, has lost 2 positions to Risa and Tiramisu, and now could lose another to Bottle and behind. Krypton, though, on the back of Combi, very close to the back of Combi in towards turn 11, now to the left-hander of turn 12. Duncan still leading the way, Eltink there in second, but Krypton has surely got to get this move done, because if not when, he's looking in behind, because Ginger is right on the back of him as well. So Ginger's now got onto the back, and I think it's going to be maybe even 3 wide down in towards turn 1, as Combi decides to come into the pit lane and backs off into towards the pit. So Combi into the pits, Krypton now in third, Ginger now in fourth, and now side by side between Risa and Tiramisu. Tiramisu now down the inside line, gets the job done. So the Portuguese man for the Jacks team is through, and the Neverlast Racing man, the Irishman of Risa, down in P6. Good battle, that.
Yeah, good battle indeed. Fair between the two of them. Risa tried to get that cut back at the bottom of the bank in, which of course the nature of this circuit does allow you to do. I think they realised when they redesigned Zandvoort, having flat corners was never going to really lead to any racing, so they had to try to do something, and it is an absolutely spectacular track to drive around here, of course, on the coast, on the with the very famous beach, with a very famous picture from David Coulthard. I hope everyone's had enough therapy to try and delete that image from their mind now. But yeah, great racing between those guys. I'm surprised Combi's coming to the pits that early on. Set of medium tyres around here. Yes, they are pretty good, of course. They are the more durable tyre, but you're going to lose a lot of time with the grip. He's going to have to go a long way on them, and might even have to do 2 sets of medium tyres now for the rest of this race, rather than 1 medium and 1 soft. So that could cost him later on. But of course, him coming into the pits means that Kryptonite could start coming into trouble from Ginger, as Eltink now comes in for Ship's Fingers.
Well, the Elting is into the pit lane. The undercut around here is very potent indeed. Elting slightly held up there in the pit lane by Lewis coming past. So Lewis into Tifa I should say, is into the pit lane. So the AlphaTauri is also in. Elting is behind Brandon Glover, but he's ahead, crucially still, of Combi, which is crucial to him in his chances in the race. Combi on the back of Elting there, 14th position. He's only a second back, so he's within the DRS train of him. Silent, by the way, is trying to go side by side with Brandon Glover up the hill and towards Skyflack at turn 7. We nearly saw this last time around. Lewis did go side by side on the back of Libber now and got the move done. And now Silent trying to be an assassin down in towards Skyflack at turn 7. Doesn't get the move done. Brandon Glover there in 11. Silent there in 12. Duncan still leading the way. Krypton in second. Ginger in third. Risa there in fourth. Duncan 4.5 seconds clear now of Krypton. And this pace, honestly, can he keep it up? Well, I say can he keep it up? He probably will because he won 25 seconds in Singapore.
Oh, this is just absolutely brilliant from Duncan. Who says the drivers don't take this seriously? He is proper going for it now. Into the pits he comes then at the end of lap 7. He should come out, probably. Maybe even ahead of the other McLaren of Pharrell Fury. He's going to be pretty close, I think, to that one on the way out of the pit. So we'll have to wait and see how this works. Ginger also into it. It's now Kryptonite in the lead of this race as Tinker and Risa going side by side, coming through turn number 1. AlphaTauri versus Aston Martin, and I think the Aston Martin just in the end gonna have to give up. I thought he had enough of a wheel to go alongside there and was not able to do so. So great battle in between those, and yeah, Duncan in the end did come out ahead of Pharrell Fury. How quickly though will the VSR man for Bear Corrals be able to get past Liebenau and Lewis up ahead?
Possibly so. I mean, Elting's actually going side by side with Cam Rules and Cam, and Elting's trying to go all the way around the outside of Skyflack. Can he get the move done? He does. Cam Rules is off track and he spins, but Elting had the right of way. The corner was ahead. Cam Rules retires out of the race. Unfortunate for the ESW man, not going to deploy his safety car, of course, because safety car's not even on. And now Elting sends it down the inside line of Silent. Good move there by Elting. Through and he's into P9. Silent there in P10. Combi on the back of P11 of Brandon. But unfortunately, that instant just came about. Elting trying to go all the way around the outside of Skyflack. He got the move done, but then on the exit of the corner, the way the camber of the corner turns out, Elting just moved across slightly on the back of Cam. Cam has left the session, unfortunately. We do thank him though for racing here in this race. Certainly, I'm sure he's got further sins to come later on. More drivers though into the pit lane, and now both Alpha and Males are going to have a fight down in towards Sermon. Ginger and Falk down in towards Sermon. Can he try and get the move done? Not quite, but on the exit of turn 2, not quite either. Tiramisu was through and LRB in behind, and he's through and he's into 13th position. Krypton leading the way, Tinkan second, Risa in third. I'm not sure what everyone is going on about in terms of James Baldhead there in the comment section. I literally said what I saw as Risa's off.
Risa's lost it coming through turn number 7 there. I think just plain lost it on his own, unfortunately. Didn't look massively close to Tinkan at the time. I only caught the tail end of that, but he has spun round. He's now down into 9th place, and those softs are going to be cooked, so I think we might see him coming in on this lap around. And to give you a clue about how well Duncan's going, is he's about to absolutely breeze past Lewis to take 4th place. He's only about 7 or 8 seconds off the actual lead of this race here. It is quite a short pit lane in Zandvoort, but he is doing a brilliant job at this moment in time. Kryptonite now comes in. I think this would be maybe the optimum time to come in, maybe a set of mediums now, and then softs at the end of the race. It just depends whether you're going to have enough grip and pace on those soft tyres to try to overtake, because we've already seen it is quite tough to get things done around here. But the majority of the field, in fact I think all the soft runners have done their first stop, and it is now Duncan in the lead. Elting in a net 2nd place. He has got Lewis and Liebenau in between himself and Duncan.
Something that wasn't hard to do. Elting got through on Pharrell Fury down the inside and towards someone, got the move done on him, and he's through and he's into P4 out on track. Pharrell Fury there in 5th, and Ginger and Falk are still going side by side. Now they're running towards Skyflack once again. It's lap 10 out of 36. Duncan leading the way, Lewis in 2nd, Liebenau in 3rd, Elting there in 4th. Ginger still on the back of Falk, but they're getting caught in a big wash now because Krypton's just ahead of this, Combi's ahead of this, and actually what we didn't speak about, Combi actually got the undercut done on Krypton, so Combi now in a net P3, Krypton there in net P4. There is a spinner, and that's Liebenau round coming out of turn 10, facing the wrong way, so the Vapor Man now round. It was going good until that point. Duncan leading the way, though, Lewis in 2nd, Elting in 3rd, lap 10 out of 36, about to tick off onto lap 11 out of 36. Duncan still leading the way, and has now broken DRS to Lewis.
I think we need to make it a three-stop ball for Duncan, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think that's the only way he does not win this race at the moment. He's a net 5 seconds ahead of Elting after 10 laps. That's 18 seconds at the end of the race. That's about a pit stop distance. He's looking absolutely brilliant at the moment. He is flying. Combi's stuck on the back of Pharrell Fiori, and it might be another 2 or 3 laps perhaps before we see these medium runners of Lewis, Pharrell and Falk and LRB further down the field come into the pits. And this is going to be quite frustrating from Combi because he just hasn't got the extra grip at this moment in time to get ahead, but he needs to try and get a move on because I feel like Kryptonite on those fresher tyres might just be slightly better if he gets for DRS. And you can see here the Haas is all over the back of the McLaren. Just nothing he can do at this part of the circuit.
Yeah, and look at Krypton in behind as well. Krypton is going to be there to take up all the spoils. Of course, these two either make a mistake or if they make a little bit of contact, which they nearly do coming on the exit of turn 10. Krypton in behind. Combi is not going to go for the move. I think he's going to wait down in towards Tarzan at turn 1 to try and get the move done there. The Relentless Man still doing a good job though for El Fury in 4th. Combi there in 5th. QVR against Relentless, which is another battle that has been plagued, of course, in the past in the 24 hours of F1. Duncan though leading the way. Lewis in 2nd. 5.6 seconds. Duncan has got the advantage to Elting, and now we're about to see possibly 2 battles. Combi's going to get the move done possibly now down in towards Tarzan, and Falk is into the pit lane. I thought he was going to get the move done on Ginger. Ginger has let go, so Combi now through and he's into 4th down in towards Tarzan corner. Pharrell Fury in 5th. Krypton there in 6th. Krypton's got nowhere to go in behind. He's just waiting honestly to maybe force one of these drivers into a bit of a mistake, and still Krypton doing a good job in 6th, but now Pharrell Fury going to try and burn up the momentum, and Krypton, he's not going to think about going around the outside of Sky Flag here. No.
Yeah, I think Pharrell Fiori did exactly what you need to do if you defend at that part of the circuit. You just put your car in the middle and there is absolutely no chance. Even Max Verstappen would not go for it if you just took your car in the middle. But Pharrell Fiori's ran a bit wide coming out of turn number 9. Now if Kryptonite can get a good exit off this corner, he's got that later exit, but he's got a bit of a twitch on that Ferrari. The medium's not gripping like he would have wanted them to do. Fair play to him. I saw what he was trying there. Take that later apex just to try and get a better possible run. But the problem is here, Pharrell Fiori still has the DRS on the back of Combi Kwame. So could be pretty tough. He could do with that McLaren diving into the pits on this lap. And he's decided to stay out of the circuit. But I'm sure Kryptonite might just have the pace and the grip here to send one down the inside into turn number 1. Down the inside goes to Ferrari on the McLaren. Can he get that car far enough ahead? Oh, the contact and Kryptonite's round. Ginger, and I think Jack's almost getting involved as that as well. But I think, to be fair, Kryptonite had pretty much got the move done. Was expecting, I think, Pharrell Fiori to have maybe just lifted off ever so slightly. Pharrell kept his foot in. There was a tiniest bit of contact. Kryptonite gets sent round and somehow doesn't look to have any major damage from that.
Yeah, which is good, I think, from Kryptonite's perspective. Ginger got caught up in that as well. Luckily, no front-wing damage on him. The ghosting system just about came into play in all of that as well. So it obviously knocked them out in terms of how it could have ended really up. They could have all been ended up out of the race. Lap 13 out of 36 about to end. Duncan now around a 6.5 second lead over Elting. He's got 3.8 seconds over Lewis. And both Alpines, of course, or L-Plans as you like to call them nowadays. Lewis there in 2nd. Elting there in 3rd. Combi in 4th. Tiramisu out of 5th, really the benefactor, I've got to say, as a result of that contact. And this is what we spoke about. If they made a bit of contact, it could all open up into a whole can of worms. And now Ginger on the back of Pharrell Fury. Look at the pace that the FRL man has now got down the inside line in towards turn 1. We've got Bottle round coming through Aria Lundike at 13, but Ginger down the inside line again. A little bit of contact with Pharrell Fury, but Pharrell luckily backed out of that one. I think Ginger had the run of down in towards turn 1 anyways, so Ginger through and he's into P5, and Pharrell Fury just overheating those tyres slightly.
Yeah, I think this could well be his final lap on this set of the medium tyres. They're starting to struggle all of a sudden, and he's not really doing anything wrong here. He's just getting in the way by just being out on circuit. There's no blue flags. They offer position right now, even though it's not position at the end of the race. But I can imagine it is getting quite frustrating for some of these drivers. We've got a yellow flag. That is a Speedy Racer who's lost it at the same place as Bottle did. No jokes about Bottle's name and what he's managed to do on that part of the circuit. But you can see from El Fiore here, he's not got the DRS. This is the second DRS zone, of course, on the run down towards turn number 11. It's just not really long enough. You need to get that move planned out all the way from turn 7 or 8, really. if you're going to start thinking about lap 1. You'll notice we haven't spoken about the leader too much. Duncan, lap number 14, 4.9 seconds ahead, well, 4.8 ahead of Lewis, basically 7 seconds ahead of Elting, just cruising.
Tin Can on the back of Relentless. Pharrell Fury's into the pit lane though as Pharrell Fury, so Tin Can now, I should say, goes down and towards turn 1, not Din Can as I just said there, Tin Can through, he's into P7, but now Pharrell Fury's into the pit lane. Let's have a look at the stops that have been made. One stop's have been made. LRB and Lewis are the only two not to have come in for their one stop so far. Two stop of course is mandatory, so everyone will still have to make another pit stop on top of that. Risa is looking quite close on the back of Falk, and now the Neverlast Racing Man, of course not to be confused with the WR man, of course, of Risa, who races obviously for the WR team. Falk there in 11th, Risa there in 12th, doing a good job. Lewis has gained 17 positions so far in this race. That will of course change. Falk though has gained 9, which I think is the most out of everyone. Khalifa and LRB have gained 6 as well, so looking very good in terms of that. But Risa now on the back of Falk, going to try and stay in that DRS train because Falk has got 2 lap better tyres than essentially Risa at this stage, and Risa, all he has to do really is stick within that DRS train, and then you never know, Falk could try and drag them along onto the back of Krypton and Khalifa.
It's easier said than done. I think, of course, Falk will be going now soft until the end of the race, so expect him to have some lightning pace. I'd be very surprised if he's not in the top 10 by the end of it. I was watching Brandon Glover and ADLT Bossel get very close together. That nearly ended up in a big shunt on the way down to turn number 7. I think Bottle just lifted off at the right time. Thankfully, didn't quite have the bottle to go for that move, because I think there would have been absolutely dreadful crash. Crash even worse than that pun. I heard a very slight terrible there. Mr. James Head. I'm going to just donate 150 quid, so you have to go bald. Excuse me 1 second.
Terrible. Yeah, but Bottle there in 17th, obviously getting outpaced now by Brandon Glover, you could argue. 6/10 of a second. Libber now in behind as well. Set a soft compounded tyre. He's got 6 lap fresher tyres than Bottle. Libber now though, 3 laps on that set of soft compounded tyre. He is going to be one of the quickest men out on track in terms of his car. LRB though and Pharrell Fury are right beside each other when they came out the pit lane. So they're separated by now 7/10 of a second. But it is Duncan domination, as Cohen has now put in the comment section. It is Duncan domination, nearly halfway through, and he's nearly 8.5 seconds clear on top of Elting. Lewis there into the pit lane, so we will see that leader's gap, and at 8.5 seconds between Duncan and Elting coming across the line. Combi there in third, running a solid P3, I've got to say, at the moment for QVR. Tiramisu and Ginger though, they're about to go at it once again, it seems, down in towards turn number 1, but doesn't get the move done there. But Ginger, I think, honestly looks so much quicker than Tiramisu. It's just the dirty air that's forced him not to try and get the move done. Lewis, by the way, is came out behind Krypton.
Yeah, that's not bad then for Lewis, actually, because he should be able to get ahead of Krypton on the DRS, and then they're fairly spaced out up until he gets up to the back of Tiramisu and Ginger, of course. I think now we'll see a lot of drivers go for softs at the end of the race, so perhaps lap 23, 24, we'll start seeing drivers come into the pits, put on that final set of soft tyres, and then just try to absolutely sprint away, of course. It looks like Bottle is going to be donating £10 to the chat, and it looks like it's going to get him more and more frustrated here. He's all over the back of Brandon Glover. He's a lot faster than the car ahead, but it just happens to be at the part of the circuits where you can't really make an overtake. The end of sector 1. This part, oh, he's lost it into the back of the Williams, just braked on the curb, lost the rear end, and that is Bottle down into 18th position. Thankfully though, still able to continue. Just shows how easy it is to make a slight mistake there, braking on the curb, spins the car round.
Unfortunately for him, he's down in an 18th position. Lewis, though, going to get the move done on Krypton. Flies past him. Down in towards Tarzan at turn 1. Lewis through and he's into 8th position. How much now ground can he make up on Duncan? Honey Badger has picked up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. I think that actually was coming into the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken, so that might get looked into in terms of removal. Duncan, though, leading the way. 9 seconds a gap. It's almost as if Duncan is pulling about 6, 7, 8 tenths of a second per lap on Elting. This man is different blood out on track. He's doing fantastic job. Barra-Carrel certainly looking like they're going to be, as Honey Badger's picked up a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit wide line. He might have got caught on the inside wall, possibly, which forced him out wide on that. But Duncan, 9 seconds the gap. He's just in a different league.
I mean, he is. About Honey Badger, Kimi Räikkönen said Paul Di Resta should stick to the reporting. I said to myself I should stick to the commentary. Maybe Tom should just stick to graphics? I'm only. Oh, he's round again. He's round again. Almost staying out. Although I must say, absolutely beautiful. 10 out of 10 for that brilliant pirouette. Get yourself on Dancing on Ice, Mr. Tom Zegers.
And now I think that was an ultimate commentator's curse once again from your perspective, Honey Badger. Still there in 18th position, Tom doing a fantastic job. Of course, he's on that fresh set of medium compound tyres, so he will have an impact. And I believe he's also made 2 stops now out on track, and he has. So he's made 2 stops. He's the first one to commit, and he is an absolute tactical gold when it comes to his driving. Certainly race up against him, and I'll try to go around the outside of the castle section. Yes, if you haven't heard that story, I was very, very young back then, and there might have been a bit of bad language, I would say, between us both. But Tom's doing a good job. They're in 18th position, but on the back of Bottle. Bottle, by the way, on that sort of hard compound tyre out. Bottle there in 17th, and apparently, according to Gareth Hall in the comment section, he's been fired for poor performance.
Ouch! Ow! We thought Helmut Marko was harsh. I mean, Daniel Kvyat, he lost his job to Max Verstappen. He lost his girlfriend to Max Verstappen. I imagine he's been practicing for Ali Pali of a darts with a Dutchman in the middle of his dartboard. But yeah, Bottle going for the hard tyres, not a bad idea if he had to start on the mediums and pit early on. Going for a set of the hard tyres and maybe then softs right at the end of the race, but he's got Honey Badger all over the back of him at this moment in time. Bottle taking that wider line, Honey Badger just having to hold up, and you can see, despite the fact he was only about, 2 steps behind going into that corner, cannot get ahead of Bottle. So yeah, very tough battle indeed between all of them. Further up the field, Duncan obviously winning by an absolute country mile. Tin Can on the back of Ginger, not able to get anything done at this moment in time. Lewis is now within the DRS range of Khalifa. He could do with getting this move done in the next couple of laps, otherwise he's going to start losing the tyre advantage that he has got.
Yeah, definitely so. Honey Badger, by the way, trying to go all the way around the outside. Bottle just locks up completely and forces Honey Badger off into the gravel. So Bottle there, 17. Honey Badger there, 18th. Liver now on the back of Brandon Glover as well. Going to be an interesting battle. Can the Vapor Man get past on the Tic Tac and Cold driver? Don't think so. Up in towards Sky Flag. Libber now there in 16th. Brandon there in 15th position. Duncan though leading the way. 9.7 seconds now the gap over Elting. Combi there in 3rd. It's a little bit boring if I've got to be honest this race. Now I say that, somebody has just spun through the final corner, and that was Speed Rye Racer, who's obviously been lapped by the front leaders. But in terms of the battling, we should see the battles begin to happen towards the second half of this race. Libber now again on the back of Brandon Glover, coming in down towards 11 and 12 is not close enough. Tin Can's getting close to Ginger further up the field as well. And actually, we are going to get a move down in towards someone because Risa tries to send it all the way around the outside on Falk. Can he get the move done? Nevertheless, Racing Man is through. Lovely move on a set of medium compound tyre. Probably going to be coming into play. Remember though, both of them have got to make another stop as into the wall goes Brandon Glover coming out of the bank in a 14.
Yeah, Bottle having to just get out of the way there, slightly there, and Honey Badger as well should be able to get this move done on Brandon Glover, although he's going to be pretty close into turn number 1 here. The Haas driver is going to be made to work for this. Down the inside goes Honey Badger, and he is up into 17th. You might have noticed I've just posted a link in the chat, and that is to the results as they stand off to Austria, but before the stewards' results. So I'll go through the top 5 teams at the moment. Absolute Units on 151, Relentless 131. Berkwell's, no, it's actually BJR who is, as we try to look very quickly through the list at what team that is. Bottle Job Racing, sorry, in 3rd place on 113. ERT on 109. QVR on 91. Berkwell's are down in 14th place at this moment in time. I think Duncan's doing a fantastic job at getting them boosted up the order. Yeah,
14th position. How much do you think they're going to go up through the night in terms of their performance? I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually leading the event by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, of course, for my final stint in Abu Dhabi. Lewis on the back of Khalifa, however, coming into the bank in a 3, getting really sketchy on the oversteer coming out of the corner. 38% of EUS to try and use up the hill, but he's not going to get the move done on towards Sky Flag at turn number 7. There are the stops, by the way. Falk, Honey Badger, Speedway Racer, all having 2 stops. Falk has got a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit white line as well, but everyone else, a majority of drivers, still have only made a 1 stop. Of course, they still have to pit in, and I would imagine the majority that are extending their stint, the likes of Duncan, Elting and Combi, they're extending their stint, but only because they can go onto a set of soft compound tyre, I would think, with around 10 laps to go.
I think lap 24, lap 25, you're going to start seeing drivers come into the pits for the set of the soft tyres. Maybe, like you said, might stretch it to 26 or 27 if they feel the need to, especially if you're Lewis, because he went quite a long way on that set of media tyres at the start of the race. So he might be able to afford to go to 26 or 27 here, but he's going to absolutely fly off the banking, streak past Khalifa as if he's not even moving. It was like he had the 2015 GP2 Honda engine in the back of that Red Bull. Lewis is up into 7th place. Kryptonite comes into the pits. He's having to go on another set of mediums and change his front wing. It was looking so promising for Kryptonite earlier on in this race, of course. He is driving for the Absolute unit. So the championship leaders having a bit of a tough race here, but luckily for them, it doesn't look like things are going too well for Relentless either. And in fact, Kryptonite comes out in 14th place, and Fabio Fiore will come out in 15th position. Still, though, Duncan leading by an absolute mile, and Jax, I feel like every time we've been on Tiramisu, he's had a car behind him at some point, and now he's got Ginger and Tin Can all over the back of him, as I think that's Honey Badger, who's had a spin coming into turn number 4.
Yeah, caught the inside curb. I was on board with that. Bottle tried to go all the way around the outside to try and get the move done through 2. It was just a catch of the curb purely by Honey Badger. No contact involved. Bottle there, 16th. Brandon Glover now up to 70. But now Krypton on the back of Vapor. What can he do? On the back of the Vapor driver of Liver now. Can Krypton try and get the move done? Tinker now into the pit lane. And I think he's going to get the move done here. Down and towards turn 12. Liver now is not even going to defend that. Sends it down the inside line. And Louis DuPont now through, and he's into P13. Krypton there into 13. And now into 14 goes Liver now. But where is Tinkan going to come out on this? Tinkan is going to be nearly side by side with LRB coming out the pit lane. So the IFR man doing a good job there in 10th. Tinkan there in 11th. Falk there in 12th has already made a pit stop, of course, in terms of his 2-stop. And Krypton now 13. The spills of Liver now as he comes back into the pit lane. Duncan now 12 seconds in front. Eltink there in 2nd. Combi in 3rd. Just to reiterate, by the way, what is going to be happening after this race, we expect Nolan and Killer Blue to take you through the action in Spain, so that is going to be very interesting. One Mr. Daniel Hoggard racing back there in Spain as well. So, commentator in a race, unbelievable.
I know, like us commentators are meant to, like I said, stick to the reporting stuff. We've all learned by now that we're better off behind the mic than we are behind the wheel. There's a good reason I keep my drive into real life and Gran Turismo, because I'm absolutely dreadful at the Formula 1 game. One man who clearly isn't, though, Duncan, 12-second lead ahead of Eltink as Tiramisu comes into the pits and clearly reacting to the other AlphaTauri of Tinkan. These two are going to be the first drivers to come in and put that set of soft tyres on until the end of the race, and Tinkan's got a lovely bit of DRS off the back of LRB to help him down the straight here. It is going to be pretty close on the exit here. I think Tinkan's got the momentum and he's got the position.
I think LRB might as well. He's on the outside in towards turn number 2, and Tiramisu has to obviously warm up those tyres, but Tiramisu just cuts him off in time, and Tiramisu, the AlphaTauri's are ahead of the Mercedes man of LRB, who I think is still yet to pit in on his 2nd stop. Yes, he is. So LRB still has to make a 2nd stop, as do the front 6. The front 6 have still not come into the pit lane just yet. Duncan now still 12 seconds clear on board of Elting, well ahead indeed, and Duncan still extending the stint out. He goes at least one more lap in terms of the action out on track. Eltink there in 2nd, Combi in 3rd. If I was Eltink, I'd be coming in this lap, try and get a little bit of gap back, and he must have heard me. Well, probably not heard me, but still, Eltink into the pit lane. Combi is probably going to come in as well. Yes, he does, and Ginger is probably going to come in. And in fact, I think everyone behind Duncan is probably going to come in.
Yeah, Eltink needs to be careful here. I did see Xander, who was originally meant to be racing in this race for Shipsfingers, and mention it in the chat. He's low on fuel. The yellow fuel light is on Eltink's car. Well, it just comes out as he comes out of the pit lane, and you can see it hovering around. Sure, how on earth has Eltink not got a penalty for that pit lane cut? My word, he must have some pictures of Michael Massey that none of us want to get leaked out into the public with the way he's got away with that one. Absolutely slaughtered that. So if any other team wants to report them, I'm just saying that it happened out there, and there is evidence on the stream, as we have got another yellow flag, and that is Honey Badger out of the race coming through the final corner. Has been a bit of a tough race for the TTG man. He is our 2nd retirement, and I think now probably going to see Duncan come into the pits now. He's just enjoying himself. He's leaving it that one extra lap longer. If he is getting engineered, I'd be shouting, Duncan, just pit this time around, as Combi moves his way back into 3rd position then on that set of the soft tyres. Someone I was surprised about, Lewis came in quite early off his set of softs and went on to a 2nd set of mediums. Not sure I get that strategy.
interesting, but I think, honestly, he's trying to cover off, obviously, the likes of Combi, the likes of Elting ahead of him, who are obviously well ahead of him now. Lewis is probably going to try and cover off Risa, who's now into the pit lane, and Risa's probably going to be well further down the field, and in fact, more drivers come into the pit lane. That is LRB into the pit lane, so those are the 2 stops now happening for them two. It is only Duncan, I think, that is only yet to come into the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken, for a second stop. It is, and Brandon Glover as well. Further down in 15th, he's yet to come in for a second stop as well. But Duncan leading the way, 24.7 seconds. I mean, he's not going to lose this gap, is he, unless he spins and loses about 10 seconds. Duncan has probably got this race under control for the Barra-Carrel's team. Elting there in second, beginning to bridge that gap down. But when is Duncan going to pit? You would imagine it'll be this lap, and I think he is going to sweep right. He's not. He stays out another lap, so even the best of commentators get that wrong. Duncan's still at him for 24.5 seconds ahead. He has got more of a pit stop ahead of Elting, but if he's not careful, Elting could be within a good range to try and close in on him, but obviously Duncan's going to go to a set of softs, so that probably much ends up that.
Yeah, I think Duncan, of course, needs to make sure that he does remember to come in for that pit stop. He remembered at Singapore, so can't see why they've forgotten that he's got to do it here. He's just enjoying himself at this moment in front of his own fans, just cruising him out. He can pit on lap 35. If he needs to do that, will count as the second compulsory pit stop, of course. There's not too many massive battles happening at this moment in time. Elting and I think it is NLR Visa, both running low on fuel at the moment, so they might have to do a bit of lift and coasting. And that might be the problem for Elting. He's been in clear air for a long time. He's pushing a big hole through the air, as you need a lot of downforce around here. And he's clearly pushing hard as well, so he's not really getting the opportunity to save any.
Yeah, we've seen it in TTML, haven't we? Between, in terms of running out of fuel, I certainly saw it in TTML F1 when we came around here. Drivers ending up running out of fuel and losing the podium positions. So Elting could easily do this again. He doesn't want to try and repeat that feat, but that yellow warning light for the fuel warns that there is less than a litre of fuel left. Speed Y Racer, I think, by the way, has rejoined right down the back of the field there in 18th. Duncan has still continued out at least another lap. Elting there in second, Combi in third. The interval timers will update themselves, by the way, as we get towards the end of this lap, certainly going on to lap 30, we will get the update on. Ginger, however, on the back of Tiramisu, less than a tenth away, really, to the back of Tiramisu, and now the Portuguese man's going to come under pressure from the back of Ginger, and Ginger now on the back of him. Is he going to try and waltz around the outside and towards Tarzan, the Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa Tauri go side by side? Can he get the move done? Ginger is there, he's on the outside line, and he's through. Round the outside he goes, nearly chops off Tiramisu, but Ginger is soon. He's into fifth, and he got the move done. Very nice move that from Ginger, and he's through, and he's into fifth position. Absolute sublime.
Absolutely brilliant. I'm sure everyone's loving the fuel updates. It's a bit like when everyone in the UK was running out of fuel here. I've seen Elting at some point. He's been changing gear at about 10,000 RPM in some of the higher gears. He's going for it a bit more now. And only for St Horses, it's no income tax, no VAT. For Elting, it's no ERS, no gasoline, unfortunately. He is really struggling at this moment in time. His yellow flag further back, and that is Risa off into the gravel. He's lost his front wing as well, and that banking's making it really awkward to get out of the gravel there. So he's going to have to come into the pits for Never Last Racing. With Speedy Racer being a long back behind, he should, thankfully for him, not drop into last race. Duncan continues on, lap number 30. Surely he's got to come into the pits.
Lap 34, I'm honestly thinking for Duncan. He's going to come into the pit lane there, because he's just so dominant. 24 seconds the gap over Elting, just underneath that now. But Elting doing a fantastic job in behind, trying to cut that gap down. But Duncan's easily going to be ahead. He could be still 10 seconds ahead when he comes out to the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. But Duncan leading the way there. Elting in second, Combi in third. Ginger again, now got past Tiramisu, is on the back of Tinkan. And now the other Alpha Tauri is going to come under pressure. XL against FRL. This will be quite interesting, I think, between them both. And the Alfa Romeo man on the back of Tinkan, trying to get this move done. Nathan, by the way, saying in the chat, Ginger leaving the soul on the track. That's terrible. Duncan, by the way, not pitting lap 34. He is into the pit lane for a fresh set of soft compound tyre. That is his final stop, and he's easily going to be maybe a good 12 seconds ahead coming out the pit lane.
Yeah, not bad whatsoever from Duncan. He's absolutely dominating this race. Thank you for the raids, Badgerman and Lisa Julia. Hope you have enjoyed your stream so far. Welcome, everyone, from their streams to the 24 hours of F1. We're in the final laps of this Zandvoort race, and Ginger absolutely flying past Exel Tinkan. I'm sure he won't be bragging about that manoeuvre. I'm sure he'll be staying humble for the humble squad. And that is Ginger up into 4th place. Needs to start building a gap though. He has got the fresher tyres. He's got 6 laps remaining to build 3 seconds. And with Tinkan and Tiramisu having a DRS, that could be exceptionally hard indeed. Further back, Lewis is behind Khalifa, but he's on a set of mediums, and Falk on the set of mediums on the back of Silence. So I think the main battles could well be between Ginger, Tinkan and Tiramisu.
Yeah, Tinkan on the back of Ginger. If he stays within a second of Ginger, I think Ginger's going to come under more pressure from Tinkan, because it looks like he's got better fuel at this stage and better tyres at this stage as well. Not really over pushing it slightly, but Ginger there in 4th, Tinkan there in 5th, and now Tiramisu is right on the back of his own teammate, and of course there's no teammates here in the 24 Hours of F1 event, but running in towards the right-hander of 11 and now through the left-hander of turn 12. Duncan leading the way. He's now pulled a second out of Eltink on 1 lap alone. Absolute domination. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins this race by 15 seconds at the end of it. Duncan leading the way, Eltink in 2nd, Combi there in 3rd, Ginger in 4th, Tinkan in 5th. Tiramisu's not close enough to the back of Tinkan. Risa, by the way, is being lapped now. He is off to the right-hand side, running down and towards turn 1 at Tarzan. But Tiramisu on the back of Tinkan, not getting the move done, and still the Jax man on the back of the XL man, still 5th and 6th position, and this is going to be the fight, I think, for 5th. But look at Lewis in behind as well, on the back of Khalifa.
Yeah, Lewis all over the back of Khalifa. I'm telling you, the last time I saw a Ginger move this fast, it was Prince Harry moving to America with Meghan Markle. The FRL man, he's absolutely flying away. 1.3 seconds he's managed to pull out ahead of Tinkan, and now that he's outside of that DRS range, he might actually have a chance here of finishing ahead of both of the Alpha Tauris. I am surprised Lewis is doing such a good job. The final couple of laps might be it for him, because Khalifa Soft might just start struggling ever so slightly in those final few laps, so that could definitely be one to watch. Duncan, he just sets another fastest lap of the race. He's just laying a bit of a marker down here to everyone else. As we said, it's for charity, it's a bit of fun, but he is absolutely loving just showing how good he is on the PlayStation platform.
Yeah, Lewis on the back, Tiramisu, by the way, on the back of Tinkan, using that bagging to good effect, and now out of Ari Lundijk on the run down in towards Tarzan will get the move done. There is a yellow flag running down in towards turn 1, and Khalifa's now being overtaken by Lewis. So, with 4 laps to go, Duncan leads the way. You can count out who's pretty much won this race, because Duncan's won it. Eltink in 2nd, Combi in 3rd. The podium positions, I think, are pretty much sorted, but Ginger, can he close up that gap as Lewis neatly gets caught on the curb coming out of turn 2. Risa is retired into the pit lane, disappointing for the Neverlast Racing boys there in 7th position. Khalifa there in 8th, but Tiramisu and Tinkan still having a good battle. 1.2 seconds off, and Tiramisu, to be honest, he's got a yellow fuel light on. Ginger hasn't. Tiramisu looks like he's in trouble compared to Tinkan, and of course Tinkan being Ginger, he's going to try and get on the back of Ginger, who's obviously still in P4.
Yeah, certainly, still in P4 at this moment in time, and yeah, Tiramisu losing that DRS could really have cost him, because he could use quite a lot of lifting and coasting. I've seen Eltink doing that into a few corners. He's got to be running on, I'd say running on vapours, but obviously Vapour is a team back in this event now, so running on fumes, I think, at this moment in time, is Eltink, and he's only going in 7th gear down the straight.
Oh, Tinkan spun! Tinkan spins! Sorry to cut you off, but he goes through Ari Lundijk and spins the car, so Tinkan pretty much out of contention, might not even pick up a top 10 at this rate. If he can get the car going again, he might just. But now Krypton is going to be on the back of him, running down in towards someone. Tinkan, so unfortunate, the banking costs another victim, and Tinkan now ran, he's down in P10, so unfortunate for the XL ban.
I wonder if he's maybe just went into overtake mode and those tyres just slightly giving up ever so slightly. I've seen it done so many times on this game. And Tinkan does spin around. Kryptonite is another one running low on fuel. This could be one to watch as well in Austin later on. It is a wet race, but I've seen it happen with many drivers around that circuit. Run out. I think I commentated on a league race once, and about a fifth of the field crawled across the finish line at the end in low fuel mode. So that could definitely be something to watch out for. Lewis getting ahead of Khalifa and has now broken that DRS range, so he's well ahead of him. Falk all over the back of Silent. So this could be interesting with Kryptonite and Tinkan. Kryptonite's got the pace in the corners. He's going to have to save a lot of fuel here, and he might have that one opportunity into turn number 1, and then just hope he can hold it off for the rest of the lap.
Well, he keeps on dipping out of the less than 1 litre fuel range out on track, and Krypton, I think, is doing a good job managing his fuel, backing off at corners where it's necessary to try and use up the fuel, and now he's going to have the run on Tin Can, possibly down in towards Turn 1, but Tin Can is too far ahead. Falk, however, is not. On the back of Silent, trying to get the move done down in towards Turn 1, the Nordic E-Racing man, I should say, is Thurney's into 8th position, so Falk there, Thurney's into 8, Silent there down into P9, fantastic action out on track. Duncan, by the way, still 15 seconds clear, Elting second, Combi in third, Ginger in fourth, trying to eat into that advantage if he can, but he can't. Tiramisu was pulled away from Lewis as well, Khalifa now being pulled away by Lewis in front of him, but the main battle really is Falk, Silent, Tin Can, Krypton, LRB.
Yeah, LRB. Shame for him, obviously, that he's in the third man in this DRS train. It's never where you want to be, because he will have the best tyres out of these at this moment in time. Krypton, he might run out of fuel across the line. Now, getting this DRS will help him. Less drag, less resistance against your engine power. You're having to use less fuel to get the same sort of pace out. So that's obviously really good news for him. And you're getting the slipstream as well, so putting that bit of a hole in the air. He's got 35% more ERS, I think, at this moment in time on Tin Can. So if you can get a good run through this final corner, it might be worth just absolutely gunning the end of the ERS here, using all your rev range, just getting this move done down towards turn number 1 if you can. It's going to be pretty close. He might have to go the long way round, and in the end he is not close enough, defending the inside line. Just enough there for Tin Can, and now I'm not sure where Krypton's going to be able to make the move. He nearly made one into turn 11 earlier on, not able to do so in the end, but out at front it has been an absolute dominant display from Duncan.
Who else? Who else but Duncan coming through the final corner? I did say 15 seconds at 16.6 as he comes through. Ari Lundijk for the final time. He doesn't care if he runs out of fuel to the line. Duncan wins again in the Netherlands. Elting to come across the line and finish in second. It's been a phenomenal race from him. There are yellow flags appearing. Not sure what that might be for. I think it's a lap car possibly getting out of the way. But Elting now ran the final corner. Ari Lundijk, he's going to come across the line in second. I think Krypton is probably going to run out of fuel further down the field. Combi there in third. Tiramisu has been overtaken. Oh, and Tiramisu actually has run out of fuel. So Tiramisu's run out of fuel. Now Khalifa's going to get past. Falcon Silent could get past in this as well. And now Falcon ran the final corner with Ari Lundijk. Can he get the run on Tiramisu? Probably not. He's well behind. Tiramisu finishes in 7th. Falk there in 8th. Silent there in 9th. Falk with a 5-second unserved penalty. Tin Can. Krypton somehow manages fuel right to the end of the race. Great fuel management from him. Picks up in P10. Tin Can there P9. LRB in 11th. Falk there down to 12th because of his penalty. There's a spinner through the final corner. I think that was Pharrell Fury crossing the line, going a little bit slow. Libber now coming across the line to finish in 14th. I think he's left the session, or actually no, he's run out of fuel as well. And Libber now and Bottle have both run out of fuel, and it's now a drag race without fuel to the line. Who is going to outdo each other on the run to the line? It's Libber now, I think. The slowest race towards the line you'll ever see. Libber now and Bottle finishing well down the field, but in the end, a Duncan demolition.
Yeah, just, I mean, we kind of expected that, to be honest. After qualifying, it was about 4/10 of a second faster than everyone else. Just absolutely superb race from Duncan. A well-deserved victory.
Well-deserved victory indeed, as he now shoots the bow and arrow. Could he be shooting high for the Barrel Carell's team later on? Duncan to the top side of the podium here in Zandvoort. A fantastic race, fantastic action, littered with drama as well. Brilliant racing out on track, but Duncan takes the win. Barry Carell's are back in it, coming in towards the next few rounds. Of course, we'll be handing over to Nolan and Killer Blue in a few moments' time. But to end off our stint, here is the full rundown of the grid order from the German Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix. Duncan wins from Elting there in second, Combi in third, Ginger in fourth, Khalifa in fifth, drove well for ERT, Lewis in sixth from 19th on the grid, Jax Tiramisu in seventh, Silent there in 8th, Tin Can in 9th, Krypton ran off the top 10, LRB in 11th, Falk there in 12th, Pharrell Fury in 13th, Libanow in 14th, Bottle there in 15th, Brandon Glover, Speedway Racer, both getting round, both being lapped as well. Risa retired in the pit lane, so he was out of it. Honey Badger, of course, spun and retired, of course, still in the pit lane. And Cam Rules out of the race earlier on for the ESW team. But Duncan demolition here in the Netherlands. And now we're about to go towards Spain, of course, for round number 9 of the championship.
Yeah, round number 9 of the championship for Spain. A few of the drivers maybe to watch out for around there. Will G. Will G's on fire. Everyone's defence is terrified. like, I've just always wanted to say that, and I don't know why it came out there. So he could be one to watch. Just as well. I know he's pretty quick around Spain. I've seen him in other things. But yeah, as James said, it is going to be Nolan and Killer Blue taking you through the action there. Spain, Mexico, Belgium, Britain, Hungary, Russia, Azerbaijan, USA. Wet, 5:15 in the morning. Might be worth either going to bed very late or getting up very early for that one, and that might be a very quick race, because in very wet conditions, if everyone's absolutely knackered, might not be too many finishing that one. And then Canada, Brazil, France, Bahrain, China, and then James finishing off around Abu Dhabi. Hopefully by then we'll have a better clue on who's going to win the championship, because there is still a long way to go, still a lot of races, and it is those night shifts, a bit like in the Le Mans 24 hours, that can kind of determine how things go.
Yeah, definitely so, and honestly, I think this has been the widest open 24 hours of F1 I think I've seen. Obviously, Barrichello, who I thought would be doing very much dominating this event so far, not at the moment. They have gained a lot of points there, of course, with Duncan taking the win. We have to find out, of course, what happens as we go through the evening, and, of course, as Luke mentioned, you can catch me. I'm on for the final race in Abu Dhabi. It would have been alongside F1 Esports royalty of Matthias Van Erven. Unfortunately, he has to go and see his family in the Netherlands. I know they're all going into lockdown, if I'm not mistaken, over there in the Netherlands. If you're unaware, you've heard it here first from me, unfortunately. But he has to go and visit his family, so there is a seat free alongside me. I do not know who I'm going to be commentating alongside, which I think makes it all the more to try and tune in for the rest of the event.
Yeah, certainly. Hopefully, you get it going to the final round. That would be absolutely nice. A final round title decided at Abu Dhabi that I guarantee will be less controversial than any other recent final round title deciders at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to hand it back over, though, to J. Cole. Of course, I have been James Head. He has been Luke Etheridge. Thank you for tuning in to our stint. Of course, you'll be seeing Luke for the breakfast show and me for the afternoon show to finish off the 24 hours of F1 event. But please stay safe in this crazy world that we all live in. For myself and Luke, thank you so much for watching. And back over to you, J. Cole. We're done. We're done.